Well, good day, baseball fans. Welcome to Bennett Field, the home of baseball in South Australia. Tonight, live on Spacequake Sports, it's the grand finale of the local baseball season. It's Game 2 of the Division 1 Grand Final Series between the Sturt Saints and the Goodwood Indians. For Sturt, a meteoric rise over the summer sees them on the brink of history. After a 10-3 victory last night, the minor premiers are just one win away from breaking a 28-year championship drought. In their way stands near neighbours, the oldest and most successful club in the state, defending premiers, the Goodwood Indians. The Tribe will be desperate to repeat last year's finale against Port Adelaide, where in a similar hole they forced a Game 3 and claimed the title on Sunday. Across all the grades, we've already seen 6 champions crowd today. Will we see a 7th tonight? Joining me, Phil Hurd, and it's great to welcome one of the most passionate and excitable broadcasters I know, Eric Bolnar. Eric, welcome to a night we may well crown a champion.
Thank you very much, Phil. It's been a while since we've rewarded a champion on a Saturday night here at Bennett Field. Most of the series have gone to 3, and the odds would suggest that this is Sturt's game to win. The Caps medalist Wilson Lee is on the mound. There's a few key outs for Goodwood, but never underestimate the Indians. They are as scrappy as a club as you will find, and Michael Gaughan is on the mound, and a man from Goodwood Baseball Club, one of the best color guys I know, Scott Pratt, in the broadcast booth as well. Pratty, big game for Goodwood. You think they can pull one out here?
Well, this is going to be a big game for both clubs. I think the pressure now turns towards Sturt. Can they run this game out and continue their form? They did everything right last night. Let's see how they go.
We're set to rock and roll. Game 2, Sturt won Game 1 win tonight. They're the champions. We've got Harrison Nucky at the plate. We've got Michael Gaughan on the hill, and your caller is Eric Bolnar.
And Michael Gaughan delivers a ball on the first pitch. Michael Gaughan got a lot of action this year at the Adelaide Bite in his first ABL season. He went 10 games there en route to winning the Rookie of the Year, memorably outdueled Shota Imanaga, who is a starter in the Japanese big leagues. And now he's going against the Caps medalist toe-to-toe with the season on the line for Goodwood. Michael Gaughan, a late season addition to the Indians after the Bite season ending. What's he brought to Goodwood?
He's brought a lot. He's given us another arm in our pen, which is very valuable, as you can see in a Game 3 three-game series. So it's been great to have him. He's also brought a lot around the club. We talked last night with his involvement with the kids. Just a great guy to have him involved, and especially from the heights that he's come.
And this one is hit hard into the outfield, and Sturt already off to a flyer, getting a runner aboard just like that.
So some early green in the scorer's book for the Saints. Of course, last night it was the Indians who scored the opening 2 runs of the contest. 10-3 scoreline indicates a one-sided affair, but Eric, it was anything but. It was all tied up in the 7th before the Saints broke it open.
Yeah, it was. And there's just a couple small plays. You look back at the replay, it was those little small margins, those double plays that either were turned or weren't turned, really made the big difference last night.
One thing that I noticed and did a bit of homework on is that the difference was free bases. We talk a lot about free bases. Goodwood gave up 11 free bases to Sturt's 3. That's going to hurt you. 15 hits to 8, not much in it there, but it's the free bases that really kill.
And for the viewers that may not have tuned in last night or throughout the Bite season, just joining us for the grand finale, when you talking about free bases, what does that mean?
We talk about walks, hit, pitch, balls, errors. Those 3 things you have given the opportunity to the other team. So that's a free opportunity for them.
Wilson Lee won the Caps medal on Wednesday night, capping off a fantastic season. Admitted he was a little bit nervous last night. I wonder if when you win a Caps medal, does it change anything in terms of the pressure and that hype around you a little bit?
Well, I've been fortunate to be with Darren Fidge and John Challinor through their time, and between the two of them won 5. And you can see that those guys, they enjoy that moment and they live to that. And interesting, Willie Lee was the only guy that didn't get a hit for Sturt last night. So we can expect that he's going to come back firing tonight.
Yeah, every Sturt player reached last night. A great depth and teamwork. 15 hits in all, throwing those free bases that Scott mentioned that led to the 10 runs and the victory last night.
1-2 count. Michael Gahn versus Wilson Lee, and Willie swings at that one. That chop's foul. Not too many changes in the lineup.
Now we'll go through those in a sec. Should mention that in the Division 1 you are allowed to have a designated hitter, which we saw last night for both teams, but tonight Gahn is pitching, he's hitting. Lee is pitching, he's hitting as well. Right now it's pitcher versus pitcher.
In a 1-2 count, Michael Gahn has been excellent for most of the season, but he hit a bit of a rough patch in the last game he played versus West Torrens in a 14-13 comeback, and they have a runner and a rundown. Nucky caught off the bag, and they are going to get the first out of the ball game with Nucky just caught napping a little bit off the bag, and Sturt will take that kindly.
So maybe a chance quickly to go through the Sturt batting lineup. Leading off, we saw Harrison Nucky, Wilson Lee still at the plate batting 2. Dylan Ridding at second base, he's in the 3-hole. Pharrell Joyce at centre field 4. Jordan McArdle, huge night last night, he's 5 at third base. Angus Rozier 6 at left. Paul Holmes into the lineup, first base at 7. Matthew Macbeth 8 at the catcher, and the shortstop in the 9-hole is Mitch Lightbody.
Paul Holmes, the one addition in the lineup, but looking at that replay that was there a moment ago, a lot to like about that pickoff.
Oh, that was a fantastic move there by Michael Gahn, and you know you can bet that Sturt are going to try and press early and try and make things happen and put the pressure on Goodwood. They got nothing to lose right now for Sturt, so you can see that they're going to do some stuff to try and make extra things happen.
Wilson Lee, he's a good at bat. You see him bat on both sides of the plate, though. He's been a lefty and he's been a righty before. I remember watching him with the bite, just standing on the left side of the plate.
Yeah, okay.
Slugging 890.
That's silly, and he's aboard with a walk. So a great at bat from Wilson Lee. So some pressure put on the Goodwood defense, just like it was last night.
Well, an interesting thing we saw last night is JBR, Jackson Brebner Russ, went 8 innings. And Tyler Thompson went 5. So that is a telling thing when you're talking 105 pitch count. It can really cost you that you get into the pen early. So, you know, you want to make sure here with Michael Gahn he doesn't use up too many pitches.
And of course a 3-game series at this level is a real test of depth, because most teams might play 2 games in a weekend or 3 games in 4 days. Very rarely will they play 3 and 3.
Oh yeah, it turns into a slugfest like we saw last year.
Be very interesting. Teams swapping in terms of home and away. Sturt was the home team yesterday, and today they're the road team. Bit of a different uniform look for Goodwood as well, too.
And of course they've still maintained the same dugouts, so the fans are not too confused. The Sturt fans with the balloons have lined up on the first base line, and plenty of Indians tonight in support along the third base line.
Yeah, the Indian fan base, a few more of them out in numbers tonight than there were last night. Very well supported, done 2 nights in a row, though.
And that's the beauty of West Beach Parks now, with the 2 grandstands on either side moved closer to the home plate. It allows each supporter group to have its own section, and those here to watch the game can just sit behind home plate.
Dylan Ridding put together a fantastic season as well, too. Willie Lee is running. That one is fouled away.
So you can see they're running early, you know. Obviously Harrison Nucky jumping. Now again we see here Willie Lee going.
So is that just a strategy of that little bit of a hit and run and just trying to put some pressure on him?
Yep, let's get, I would say Tommy Bryce has gone, you know, let's throw everything at them here and see what Goodwood, how they can hold. Can they hold their nerve?
Is a different catcher and third base defensively for Goodwood today? Or would Sturt be looking to test them as well, too?
Oh, yes, definitely. You know, you got Dylan Childs, who has been catcher for most of the year, and to put him at third, you're going to have to test him out.
No Stephen Welsh, no Brendan Pett, and no Dennis Christensen in the lineup right now for Goodwood. Those are 3 regulars and 3 big outs. The depth will truly be tested for the Indians today.
Craig Pycott coming in as the catcher, Matty Watkins right field, batting 7 and 8 respectively, and a bit of relief there, a strikeout for Gahn.
Yeah, big strikeout from Michael Gahn. He's not always flashy, but when he gets that strike zone going, he can be quite consistent and quite effective.
Yeah, you like the way he goes about it. He really pounds the zone we talk about, and an interesting thing is he had a bad series, if we remember, in Perth, and I think the Canberra game followed that, and he came out here and was lights out. So had a tough series against West Torrens, and now here we go.
This is hit out towards right field. Watkins moving under that one. He makes the catch, so Sturt are through with, they get 3 outs and they face 4 of the batters, and we'll head to the bottom of the first inning for Goodwood's hitting side.
So we might go through the Goodwood Indians lineup tonight. They're led off by centre fielder Owen Hughes. Batting 2, second base Josh Cakebread, and of course where there's Josh. Batting 3 at short, there's Jeremy Creswell. Batting 4, third baseman Dylan Child in that hole for Steph Welsh tonight. Batting 5, first baseman Ben Wigmore. The starting pitcher is batting 6, Michael Garn. As mentioned, batting 7, the catcher tonight, Craig Pycock. Batting 8 in right is Matty Watkins, and 9, the left fielder, Toby Baldock.
You can analyze it as much as you want, but Pratty, last night, we talked about it a little bit at the end of the game. One of the big differences really was the effectiveness of Sturt's bottom of the lineup versus Goodwood's bottom of the lineup.
100%. 7, 8, 9 really contributed for Sturt, whereas for Goodwood there was nothing, no contribution, and that really does win premierships, 7, 8, 9.
Well, it was even higher than that. All the hits, and all bar one of the hits for Goodwood, and all the walks were 1, 2, 3, 4 last night. Yep. There was only one hit from
Ben
5,
Wigmore.
6, 7, 8, 9, and that was late when the game was done.
That's right. And, you know, there was some other highlights I thought from Sturt. Give him full credit. JBR going 8 innings. He was outstanding. 7 hits, 2 strikeouts only. Gave up 2 walks, gave up 3 runs. So his performance was rock solid going through to those 8. Jordan McArdle, what about him? 3 for 3, home run, double, single, 6 plays at third base. Not known as a third baseman. Then you got Lightbody, 3 for 4, 2 of them running bunts, hitting number 9, 3 for 4. Nucky, 3 for 6, and Roger, 2 for 3 with great base running. We saw that. I just thought they were hungry, they hustled, they really did everything right, you know, and that was a big difference.
And it started in that 7th with 2 walks, with none out,
Yes.
and all of a sudden then you get a hit, you get an infield single, a well-played bunt. Suddenly Sturt are scoring runs. By the time Goodwood got to bat, they were already down about 4 runs, and the Saints took it away. I mean, Saints' #1 offence in the South Australian Baseball League. Goodwood not far behind. You'd have to say general pitching stats, Goodwood just a little bit in front. It's probably a case, Eric, of how Sturt take their huge offence, where they've got 4 hitters that are slugging over 800 and play it in this bigger ballpark.
A bit breezier out in the ballpark today, too. Owen Hughes leads things off. Wilson Lee, Caps medalist. He had a great hitting season as well, too, and pitching not so bad either. Had a 3. Where are the numbers here? You might have it there, Phil.
His win-loss record 10-0.
Yeah, it's that's okay.
He hasn't lost the game.
As Pratty would know, I'm not a big fan of the win-loss pitching statistic.
No.
Too many variables in there, but when you're 10-0, should mean you've had a good year.
And a 3.87 ERA would suggest that as well, too. Big southpaw Wilson Lee.
So 83 strikeouts during his 18 appearances. That's almost 5 an appearance. And of course during the regular season.
Yeah, just over 9, I think it's 9.4 strikeouts per 9 innings, which is a great indicator of how a guy's going. He's going to get a strikeout an inning, Wilson Lee.
Saw him in one of the Super League games, I think for the Carp. Just absolutely bring the heat that night.
And this one is chopped foul. Wilson Lee played at Woodville up until this season as well. Pratty, you've seen a lot of club movement over the time. Players moving clubs, especially ones that have been entrenched like Wilson Lee was at Woodville. It couldn't have been easy for him.
It never is. It never is easy for anyone to move clubs. There's got to be a good reason and a good case, and obviously it was.
That one just slips away. If Willie, that is the knock sometimes on him, is he can get a little bit wild sometimes.
Yes.
Wild man Willie. And we mentioned Lee quiet last night. Of course, he's played in a couple of grand finals with Woodville, and the Senators didn't win either of those 2 occasions. The last one at Kensington went 3 games, and then the first grand final series we had here at West Beach went down in 2 against the Tigers.
I saw him in a grand final against us, and it was game 2, and he was lights out. Came in at the back end of the game, and I think he struck out 8 guys in a row.
And this one's hit hard. This is to left field. This one is drifting foul. So Owen Hughes, what a great at-bat to set the tone here for Goodwood's offense.
Yeah, outstanding. And Owen, as we know, has had the accolade of the outfielder of the year.
And he swings at this one. This is hit towards left field. Outfielder moving back. This is to the wall, and this is caught right on the track by Angus Roger. He gave it a cold, hard crack there for Owen Hughes, unfortunately just going down to the wall.
Yeah, Hughes is one of 3 players, the top 3 hitters for Goodwood, that have played all 30 minor season games. So it's that consistency, 1, 2, 3 for the Indians all through the season, which gets them off to a good start every time.
Yeah, look, last night he was outstanding, 2 for 4, did very well. I thought Creswell 3 for 3 last night, solid at shortstop. Those guys have got to come back and deliver again. Dylan Childs again, he was 2 for 4 last night, did well behind the dish, but now over at third. So these guys have got to come back and contribute, and the others have got to join them in the party.
Cakebread stepping in, and he swings at that one and chops it foul as well too. They really started off the game yesterday coming out hard. They were smacking the ball.
Yes, certainly were. And to Jacko's credit, he really changed it up and changed the game and threw an outstanding game.
0-2 pitch. Willie Lee looking for that first strikeout just up high. Pratty, what was the mood around the Goodwood camp today leading into this game?
Look, it's business as usual. We've been here before where we've lost that first game, and you just got to go about your business and get it done today. And that was just the attitude and the thought process. Let's go about it the right way. We know what we've got to do, and go out there and do it. So one thing that I had made mention is we need to be hungrier. And I just saw Sturt was so hungry. You know, the way they beat it out the line, you know, they put running bunts down. They did everything they could possibly do to win this game, or that game last night, which was impressive. You know, I'll take my hat off to them.
Certainly a patient approach here for the second straight batter. It's a full count. 1 out. Owen Hughes drove one to left field to open up the game. Josh Cakebread, again, so patient. And he's going to swing at that one and chop it foul. So lots of pitches early on Wilson Lee. How do you determine what approach you take against a pitcher?
Well, there is a process where you can go about it, where you're going to burn a guy, get his pitch count up, and especially when you're talking 105, you know, you can get a guy early to get into the pen. And you could see that worked beautifully for Sturt last night.
This is hit hard. This is going to be an awkward spot over at first. Wilson Lee has to hustle over to get there. He gets his foot on the bag. A great job by Paul Holmes to go and grab that one, and that's the first out of the inning.
Should set up
second out, sorry.
Second out. Should set up Sturt defensively around the outfield. Rogers in left, Joyce centre, and Nucky in right. Around the bases, McCardle in third, Lightbody short, Ridding in second, Holmes at first. Macbeth is the catcher, and Wilson Lee, as mentioned, starting pitcher tonight.
So they made Wilson Lee work, but with no results so far, but they put the ball in play. Jeremy Creswell.
Yeah, there's definitely a take situation here. They're definitely trying to burn pitch counts and try and go deep and get rid of Willie Lee as soon as possible.
So it's saying they think they have a better chance with the Sturt bullpen than they do with Wilson Lee, the Caps medalist. This is lifted towards right field. Holmes backtracking. Ridding trying to come over and diving catch, and he made it! Dylan Ridding, how you doing? What a catch, and that ends the inning.
He wasn't Ridding, he was flying. He had the furthest to run of those 3 as we watch it on the Spacequake Sports replay. Timed it to perfection, right in front of some Sturt faithful and the first base grandstand, and that's your first highlight of the evening.
We'll step aside for now. We'll be back after this.
Well, there you have it, folks. You're looking live at Bennett Field, West Beach Parks here in Adelaide, South Australia. It's been a pretty pleasant day. It's going to be a cool night. Not much in the way of breeze at the moment. Here at the airport, it's 21.4 degrees Celsius. A nice little breeze from the west-southwest, 9 kilometres an hour, just to keep us cool but have no real influence on the contest. So, Praddy, we're going to let the players sort this one out tonight.
Oh yeah, that's what we want. We don't want that gully breeze or that sea breeze coming in here, and any fly ball going out there just kills it.
We should mention, don't be shy. If you're on the chat, say g'day, join the conversation.
McCardle grounds out, and that's the first time he's been out all weekend. He got on base all 5 times. He had a plate appearance yesterday. He grounds out 4-3, so an effective job from Michael Gaughan, his Adelaide Bite teammate, to get him out. Brings up Angus Roger to the plate.
Just starting to settle into it now, Gaughan. Certainly one of the highlights of the Bite season. The game that Fraser, Praddy and myself called against Canberra, against Imanaga, who is named during the week as the opening night pitcher for the Yokohama Bay Stars, so a pitcher of quality. And Gaughan went pitch for pitch with him all night and shows some talent. Australian rep, opened the Under-23 World Championships last October, and one of those exciting young prospects in the Adelaide Bite lineup.
What a night that was, eh?
It was a must-win game for the Bite at that time, too. They dropped the first 2 series. So Michael Gaughan is no stranger to a challenge. And as you said, he got touched up a little bit against Perth the weekend before, but he came back, and it was against a challenge. It was against the best pitcher in the ABL, and he went toe-for-toe with them all out, and now he's got to do it against the Caps medalist as well, too.
Yes, indeed. And he has some get up and go about him, which I talked about before. I really like his attitude. I was at an Under-13 Div 2 Grand Final, and I missed that game. The game that he threw in, and saw him, and he was absolutely livid back at the club. He was just like, he felt he'd let everyone down, and you could see the weight of the world on his shoulders. And I just said to him, look, you're going to get another game, you're going to get another crack, and it's this weekend, and this is where you've got to put all your energy in. And you could just see he wanted it so bad. So look forward to seeing how he goes here. Doing all right so far.
Well, he's only 23 if he played in the Under-23s last October. He's had a big spring summer.
It's amazing how you can feel so attached to the club, and I mean, he seems so emotional after that, how he can feel so attached to the club, even though he's been in Adelaide just such a short time. Yeah,
that's right. He's really adopted it and adopted us, and enjoying being a part of it.
Probably says a lot about the player and a lot about the club. Full count. Angus Roger takes this one outside, and Roger is aboard with a walk. He's had a nice little weekend as well, too. Second walk of the game. Well, Paul Holmes has been around Sturt for a while. Up and down between the 1s and 2s over the years, and he's getting an opportunity to finally play in a Division I Grand Final series. I feel like a lot of people in Sturt are saying that all weekend. Finally, here's the opportunity.
8 of the 9 Sturt hitters tonight are averaging over 300. The one that isn't is Mitch Lightbody, and he's averaging 291.
It's just relentless.
It's definitely one of those offensive powers, and we talked about that. And we saw it last night, how important their offense is, and pitchers have got to make their pitch. And Tyler got hurt a couple of times, leading couple up and getting behind in the count.
It's just inside, runner trying to go. Roger gets in there, and that one just slips away and trickles into the outfield. It looked like they had Roger caught, but he's going to have a stolen base.
If you can see that on the replay, I'm pretty sure there, I didn't see him really take off, but it looked like it was a delayed steal. So what he's trying to do here is he's trying to trick the catcher in that he's not going, and get the pivot players out. So what he'll do is he'll do a couple of shuffles out, and then he'll take the base. So well done there by Angus.
Holmes chops this one foul. Look out in the car park. Some good at-bats earlier in this one. Both pitchers getting worked pretty early on in this one.
You know what I've noticed as well is a lot of the guys from Sturt come up the handle a little, you know, and they're looking to put that ball in play.
Oh yeah, you can see it right here.
And we got Zach Becker out at left field. So he's come out to the game today. So welcome out, Zach. And good to see you.
This is hit out towards foul territory once again. So Holmes just chopping away, making Michael Gaughan work.
And for the first time tonight, the team has a man in scoring position in Roger, who's had a sensational season for the Saints. Weren't even in the finals last year. 21-19 record, finished 7th, the best team out of the finals.
It's a pretty remarkable story. They've really recrafted this club. Some great leadership in that club as well, too. Had a great chat with Wallace Long as well, the president of the club earlier.
Yeah, he's really taken the club to the next level, and with Tom Bryce as the head coach. Wealth of knowledge and a very experienced player. I believe he also was in the silver medal with Ben Whitmore in Athens.
Indeed.
2-2 count. Michael gone. A bit of a slower pace to this one as compared to last night. Last night they just sort of went at each other right away. I feel like they're feeling each other out a little bit more today. This is chopped towards Michael Gaughan. It'll be a weird hopper. He's got to settle this in, throw it across the diamond, and he got him. But that's a job well done. It does advance the runner to third. So with 2 outs, Matt Macbeth, who delivered in a big way last night, will get a chance to do it again here.
Now Rose are 90 feet away.
That's a very hard one. You know, the ball's up in the air and you're just waiting for that to come down while he's motoring down the line. So all you're thinking is come back down into my glove sock and throw him out.
Well, Macbeth had 2 RBIs last night, was 1 from 5. Struck out twice.
This one's hit towards right field. Is it going to drop? It drops in front of Matty Watkins, and Matt Macbeth has delivered the first run of Game 2 and stirred her up.
Well, you can see there, he didn't try and do too much with it. He just let that ball travel and just came with it and took that ball to right field, not trying to overpower the ball and just get it in play. And that was a great piece of hitting there by Matty Macbeth.
It shows how you need to play this ballpark.
Yes.
Don't swing for the fences all the time, just find the gap.
That's right.
And there's your IBI to start proceedings.
This guy at to bat now had 3 infield hits yesterday, and Mitch Lightbody, a couple key bunts he laid down, and you just hustled them out. You loved that heart that he showed last night.
It was great to see. He really just pushed and pushed and pushed to make things happen, and the hustle was just outstanding.
Some great hustle from Dylan Ridding to make that great play to keep runs off the board in the first inning for Sturt in foul territory, and they've turned that into a bit of momentum and strung together a run, just playing a bit of small ball.
That's right.
Often you can tell the depth of a side by its weakest link or who's batting 9. And you got an Adelaide Bite player in the 9 hole averaging 291 at this level.
Now the other thing that, sorry Eric, the other thing that what Mitch does is he puts the pressure on over with Dylan Childs at third, because he's got to come in just in case he puts a running bunt down. He can't play too deep. So now all of a sudden that gives away some mileage over there, some ground over there because of that.
2-1 count. Still a runner on. Matt Macbeth has had a great year all year long. Steady behind the plate, and he drove in the first run. Just a bit inside, 3-1.
It's been a huge day baseball SA, grand finals from Div 7 to Div 2. If you're watching and you know some results, put them on the chat so we can congratulate the winners around the town today.
Big Div 2 win in this game before for West Torrens, 6-2.
No, Woodville got up in Div 7.
It's just outside. Div 3, it was a walk-off, come from behind victory in extra innings for Glenelg over Adelaide, and then Glenelg won it again in Division 4 in a big victory for them. Andrew Paulman had a walk-off home run in Div 3. He had the winning runs driven in Division 4, so a fantastic day for him, which is pretty cool to see.
Okay, so that means we need to know who won Div 5 between East Torrens and Golden Grove Central Districts, and who won Div 6 between West Torrens and Southern Districts, and then we've got everyone covered.
And the big one is here tonight. And there's a runner on first and a runner on second. Mitch Lightbody has found his way on base in multiple ways. And a guy that's hit the ball pretty good all week, and he's had 3 hits now, is Harry Nucky, and he's up to bat right now.
Got a single to get us underway, but was got caught in a rundown and was the first out of the night.
And the good thing with Harrison, he doesn't try and do too much with the ball. He knows his strengths, and he just puts the ball in play, drives it well.
They're really similar to what Goodwood were doing in the first inning with Wilson Lee. They're taking a lot of first pitches here.
Really adds the stakes if no one's got anything left in the cupboard tomorrow. And you would remember, Fraser, a bite series in Brisbane a couple of years ago, prelim, where it went extra innings and the bite basically ran out of pitches for game 3, and that's when it got ugly.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can't really... Oh, this is hit foul as well, too. I mean, you can't really worry about tomorrow if you're Goodwood, if there's not going to be a tomorrow if you lose this game anyways.
100%. You come here, throw everything to get into the next game, and then you're just pulling guys out from the benches to get out on throw.
2-2 count, 2 outs, runner on first and second. Sturt trying to string something together to get a multi-run lead, and Michael Gaughan will just keep the runner in check there.
Because one of the things from last night was Goodwood used 6 pitches. Thompson went 5, Fidge went 1 1/3. The others went a couple of outs. I guess outside of Thompson, that'd be fresh tomorrow if they have to go, Scott?
Yeah, and you know, that was a point in time where you just get to roll some different arms out, keep them fresh, don't overdo it. And it was good to give a couple of kids. We saw Snake, Jake Wild get an opportunity, and we saw Peter Pake. So not that Jake's a kid, but young Peter Pake coming out hot off the under 17 MVP.
Hadn't pitched at Div 1 level all season, come out and pitched in a grand final.
Neither had Jake.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, which is great.
Runner's going, and this is hit towards center field. This is going to drop. It's going to be a bit of an awkward play. Moving back to get that one is Josh Cakebread. So they put the first run on the board, but it could have been a lot worse, so it's just 1-0, and now Goodwood's bats will go back to work.
So Goodwood facing a deficit to head into the bottom of the second. Of course, this is the 4th meeting between these clubs. They met twice, and interestingly, it was in the space of a couple of days in January, just the way the Baseball SA schedule works. On Sunday, January 6th, Goodwood beat Sturt 4-2. That was at Sturt's home ground. It was tied going into the 7th, and Goodwood scored 2, and they won 4-2. A couple of days later at Goodwood, which is just down the road, 2 near neighbours, well, the Indians blew the Saints apart 12 runs to 1 in what was a 5-inning shortened game. The Indians scored 5 in the first, and it never looked back. Saints, of course, got their first victory against the Indians last night. So Sturt, well, they went through their season 23 wins, 2 draws and 5 losses. 2 of those 5 losses to these Goodwood Indians.
Well, Wilson Lee heading back out on the mound for inning number 2. He went 1-2-3 thanks to that great catch from Dylan Rinning. Eric Ballnar, Phil Hurden, and Scott Pratt with you for game number 2. Thanks for joining us all weekend long, and make sure you click that share button, comment, and tag your friends to let them know what's going on this weekend. Lots of baseball action across the community in the final weekend of the season. It's a happy weekend, and it's a sad weekend.
It's one of those weird things in sports, Scott, and you've experienced both sides of the coin. You can be the second best team and have an outstanding season, but if you don't win the finale, you probably feel worse of any other team that doesn't win the premiership. 100%,
and that's the thing, is what happens all year is irrelevant when it comes down to the big dance, and that's what you've got to be mindful of. And you know, you just got to make sure that you're here ready to play.
Dylan Child will lead things off for Goodwood. And he swings at the first pitch, bit of a different approach that we saw earlier in the game.
Yeah, that's an interesting approach right there.
Well, at some point, they're going to have to get after him. They are down a run early. Wilson Lee got through the first easily. Well, don't say easily. It was a hard hit ball to left field and a great catch, but he did get through at 1-2-3, so that's what the score sheet looks like.
Just trying to see if I can get some pitch counts up, but I don't think I'm going to be successful with that tonight.
Dylan Child, during the season, hit .323 in the 18 games he appeared in.
13 RBI, 4 home runs. His on-base percentage, .581.
He does hit for power. There is no doubt about that. He can hit a long ball.
I take it opposing teams would be quite careful with him.
Oh, definitely. It's a guy that you can't give too much extension. You got to work him hard in and then soft away. When we say soft away, like a breaking ball would change up, something like that away.
Bit versatile, was catching last night, in at third, replacing Stephen Welsh tonight.
He's been at a couple clubs too, hasn't he, Dylan Child?
He came from Woodville.
Everyone's coming from Woodville. Sometimes that does happen to clubs, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know, it's an unfortunate thing when a club doesn't keep their players and one leaves and another leaves, and it can be a bit of a disappointing thing for a club when things aren't going your way and then people start leaving.
And sometimes it even happens to successful clubs as well, because good players struggle to get a regular spot, and they go to where they're going to get a game.
That's right. We've seen that. We've lost some. Nick Talbot was in our club.
Swing and a miss there. Wilson Lee with his first strikeout of the day. And the victim's a pretty good hitter in Dylan Child.
So Wigmore, now I was listening to you guys last night, and one of your, did you say one of your Giants compadres or the Bite in the early days?
No, he came to Goodwood and played at Goodwood in our 99-2000 premiership.
And that was the 47-year drought.
Yes.
Breaker.
Against Henley and Grange, and won that in game 2. They won. We won down there. In those days, you'd play at one ground and then you'd come back to your ground.
And, did you win on the Saturday or the Sunday?
No, we won on the Sunday. So we won the first game down there.
And when did you go home?
And then we won on the Sunday. And
when did you resurface?
I can't remember. Memory's a bit foggy.
Ben Wigmore slashes that out towards right field. That's going to drift foul. Well-respected guy in baseball, Ben Wigmore.
Certainly is.
Good crowd starting to filter in here. There's a few more people in here than there were even in inning 1, especially on the Goodwood side. It's well represented there, and that's rocked down the line again too, so getting bat on ball, Ben Wigmore.
Yeah, the Sturt side, they've got 2 grandstands. They've got the first base over the dugout, and what are we going to call this little porch of a grandstand over the dugout corner?
Yeah, we've got to come up for a name for that.
Might be a good project for us or our listeners or anyone.
Oh, I love coming up with names for things. Give me
Davo's dugout.
Davo's dugout.
Yes.
Nathan Davison following along from an airplane right now, heading back doing some scouting for the Adelaide Bite.
Doing some great media work for the Bite while he was over there.
Yeah, he has. This is grounded over towards third, picked up by McCardle, zipped across the diamond, and Jordan McCardle, who has been excellent playing third base all game, has just done it again. He had 6 5-3s. He retired last night, and there's number 7 on the series right now.
And I don't know when the last time he played third base. So to come in and do that is pretty special.
Yeah, and that's a very difficult. Of the infield, is that the most difficult to play?
The issue there is the throw, getting used to the throw. You know, if you've come from shortstop or you come from second, it's got some distance over there.
And you've got the least amount of time usually to make the out.
Well, it depends on how that ball comes to you. If it comes hard hit, you got plenty of time to take your time because he's only taken 2 steps out of the box. So you've got to really know the situation. You've got to be able to have that ability to go, okay, I've got plenty of time, I can gather myself, or I've got to get rid of this ball quickly because it's taken a bit of time to get to me.
It looks like he's giving a little bit of space down that third base line.
Swings through that one. First strike.
Sean Lee drops a call. He was the assistant coach, and he says from memory, return home was a week later, but it's blurred.
Yes. As it should be. 47 years.
Michael Gaughan hitting for himself today. Swings that. That's the second strike. Pitcher on pitcher battle. Goodwood trying to get on the board. Wilson Lee trying to go 6 up, 6 down.
I think you mentioned it's 28 years for Sturt. And there's you mentioned there were quite a few players in the lineup that weren't alive when the Saints last won their flag in 91.
Wilson Lee looking very relaxed on the mound right now. Looked a bit nervy coming in here at top at bat from Owen Hughes, but since then has settled right in. 5 batters faced, 5 batters down, and we'll see what Michael Gaughan can do, and it's a strikeout for Wilson Lee. His second of the inning, and that's exactly what Sturt need. They hold a 1-0 lead through 2. We'll come to you on the other side of a short break with Phil Herden taking the call. Phil Herden will join you back on the mic shortly here. The Adelaide Bite, or the Adelaide, not the Adelaide Bite, Goodwood Indians. I'm getting used to what I normally am here. Goodwood Indians trailing 1-0 here, heading into the third inning.
And we talk about the history between two clubs. We had a long time ago when we had the Wednesday night leagues, there was the Coca-Cola Panthers, which was Goodwood and South, and then we brought in the Coca-Cola Raiders, and that was in the 90s, and it was South, Sturt and Goodwood combined. So, and now we've got the Seahawks, which is South, Sturt and Goodwood. So there is a lot of history, and an interesting little stat. It takes you 5 minutes to get from Goodwood to Sturt. And how many kilometres do you reckon it is?
I reckon it's no more than 6 Ks, I reckon.
Eric?
1.3.
3.4 kilometres.
3.4
from Goodwood to
Short
Sturt.
little run. You can walk there, and you can walk there in under an hour.
I drive it a lot. Every time I used to go out to Norwood to the bike games, I'd drive past Mortlock Park and then drive past the Sturt ground.
Willie Lee leading things off. We'll see what he can do. And back on the call is Phil Herden.
Thank you, Eric. What a beautiful night for some championship baseball. Is Willie Lee wasting no time to have a swing at the first pitch.
Speaking of the weather, Phil, I got a viewer coming in, Stephen Dew, a Goodwood boy. He's over in Coffin Bay there, and he said it's raining in Coffin Bay. Any chance of rain here?
Usually the weather takes from Port Lincoln about 3 hours to get here, so you would hope. Was it 4.5, 5 inning an official game, depending on who's leading?
Yep.
I'd say we're going to be right. But yes, some dark clouds out to the St. Vincent Golf as we've now got ourselves going ahead in the count 1-2. So Sturt have struck first. Last night it was Goodwood who struck first, 2 runs in the first, but Sturt got it back and finished the stronger. And Garn gets his second strikeout of the night, and he's been
It's the fourth strikeout for Wilson this series.
Yeah, he's been walked 3 times and struck out 4. Not much bat contact thus far. So it'll be Dylan Ridding up next. He tries to find the 5.5 hole, picked up, and a great throw there by Child. Welsh might not get back at third base if he can play the hot corner like that.
Little pirouette, spin around and throw him out. Fantastic.
Some extra style points on that.
Terrell Joyce coming up to bat. He's the RBI leader in the South Australian Baseball League competition. This would be a big out for them if they could go 1-2-3 here and really settle back into it.
So Garn puts that one right down King William Street and gets ahead in the count.
Oh, breaking ball right there, showing plenty of respect there for Terrell.
So Joyce, 42 RBI this season, 12 runs, averaging 349 and slugging 830.
See the change of speed right there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Got that one in the dirt. Well protected by Pycock. He's in the lineup tonight behind the plate.
Come from Port Adelaide this year. Been out of the game for, I believe, 2 or 3 years.
Would these two have worked as a battery previously?
Never.
Never.
To my knowledge.
So far it's working all right.
That was a nice pitch. See that 2-seam then run in and well laid off by Terrell.
Joyce goes bang, but it is straight to Creswell. He'll flash the leather, and that is a very quick 1-2-3 gun for the first time tonight. Retires them in order, and Sturt retain their 1-0 lead.
Well, the bottom of the lineup coming up here for Goodwood. We talked about it a little bit. This is the part of the lineup that we want to see do some damage here. Pycott, Watkins, and Balldog trying to get it going. Matty Watkins, the MVP last year. Maybe he can get some magic about him this year as well, too.
Well, I believe a couple of weeks ago he hit a long ball and got himself a double. So he come through with the batting at that point in time, but hasn't obviously had a hit this series. So let's see how he goes.
You can see there, overcast conditions, cool, probably about 20 degrees at the moment. It's a very pleasant night to watch some baseball. Might need a hoodie a little bit later on, and possibly by night's end, maybe maybe an umbrella.
Well, Craig Pycock's going to lead things off here. He's only played 12 games in Div 1 this year, but he is hitting 300 in his 30 at bats. So he's got those 9 hits in his 30 at bats. So he's not like he's a slouch at hitting in this one. What do we know about him?
Well, it's interesting when you say that, Eric. 9 hits out of 30. Sometimes when you don't get many at bats, it can take you a while to get your groove in, and then you know you can get on a tear, and then all of a sudden you pick up 3 or 4 hits really quickly. So to get 30 at bats and to get 9 hits from that's impressive. And he's been around the game for a long time, so he's going to bring a wealth of knowledge and experience. So it's going to be handy to have him down this bottom end of the lineup.
So would he be giving us like a smart at bat at least when it comes up here?
You would be expecting that right now.
As mentioned, it's 7-8-9. We're bottom of the third. Indians trailing by 1 in a must-win situation to stay in this championship series. If Sturt win tonight, they are the champions. And as much pressure as there was last night, I think it's going to go up a couple of notches as the outs start to dwindle for the Indians. And the final series is very different, Scott, to a season. You know, we know the Major League season goes 162 games, and individual games can sort of get lost in that. And a Baseball SA season is 30 games. It's still a pretty reasonable run.
Yeah, and it's a long season over months. Like
Correct.
You start in October and you finish in March.
This is intensified.
Yes.
Into one game. A couple at bats. Some big swings, but that looks playable to left. Roja just in front of the warning track, takes that in. And Pycock is retired. The Indians won away.
Yeah, you can see that one there. He's tried to give that all he can, and unfortunately falling short in the, just before the warning track. And it looked like there where he's come across the ball rather than trying to drive that ball into the alley somewhere.
So that part of the outfield is probably about 370, 380,
Steep.
and that one went maybe, I don't know, 340, 350. In suburban ballparks, a 350 hit left centre?
That's close to a home run in most of them. 330 is around about the average.
And that's the adjustment you have to come and make when you play in the big stadium. Of course, we mentioned Goodwood's history, about 125 years, I think it's about now.
But it would be 128.
128.
Yeah.
And through all that time, until about 5 years ago, baseball in this state did not have a home ground.
That's right.
To play these kind of games.
We actually played one 02-03 in Theberton against Glenelg. We played at Theberton and beat them in 2. I remember that one nicely.
I think Theberton Oval has hosted almost as many sports, almost as many as Spacequake sports are broadcast. It's been a lot. Gridiron baseball, union, rugby league, Aussie rules footy, women's footy, association footy, gridiron.
Wow.
It's seen a lot at Thebby.
Here's a big shout out to Spacequake Sports. It was 2 years ago, their first live stream sports broadcast, and it was Division 1 Grand Final, and a great one between Port Adelaide and West Torrens.
And I think that series will be ever hard to beat. 3 games, all of which went down to the wire. And of course West Torrens getting the flag, and Port Adelaide, as they've been in recent years, are bridesmaids.
Well, a Goodwood boy, ex-Goodwood boy Ryan Muggleton, we remember him and his chug bats hit that ball over the fence. And
a famous Titanic video that's gone around there.
Right.
Matty Watkins dialed up on strikes from Wilson Lee. 3 strikeouts on the day. Not so bad from the Caps medalist. He's up, 8 down to start the game.
Looking in control. Probably getting the pitch count worked a bit. But he's not minding it. So far we've had 3 flyouts, 3 strikeouts and 2 groundouts. So pretty even way to get out, and Toby Baldock wastes no time trying to get some bat. He's averaging 192. The only starting hitter under 200. In fact, one of only 3 in these lineups averaging under 300. 9 RBI this season from his 26 games. 6 walks, 26 strikeouts. And right now he is down 0-2 in the count. And Lee is a strike away. from retiring the first 9 batters in the first 3 innings.
Had a great chat with Jackson Brebner-Russ, the Game 1 starter. He had a great appearance with 3 earned runs over 8 innings in the Game 1 winner. He was saying, as the Sturt pitcher, all you really have to do is keep your team
Drop
in. This
third
one slips
strike.
away, throw over to first. They got it. Wow.
Yeah. Drop third strike, a chance there. Baldock was aware of it. That will go as strikeout number 4 for Willie Lee, and we are halfway through. Well, we're at the end of 3. It is the Sturt Saints 1, the Goodwood Indians 0. You're watching Baseball SA on Space Quake Sports.
Michael Kahn heading back out on the mound. He had his first 1-2-3 inning of the game, the most straightforward inning that, to be honest, they've had in quite a while over the course of the series. Michael Kahn got to get right back into it. Phil Herndon back on the call, but Jordan McCardle, he's been hot all weekend long. He's up to bat.
Indeed. McCardle, Rozier, Holmes, the next 3 up for the Saints of Sturt. Got to be careful, of course, I'm from a footy background, and the Goodwood side in footy are the Goodwood Saints. So if I say that tonight, it's $1 in the fine jar. Going for the Indian, trying to find the outside corner, and he paints it nicely. And we got ourselves an even count. So the only run thus far was Angus Rozier, who was walked. And then Macbeth with the RBI, with a nice little blooper to right. And that's the ball game thus far. 2 hits, both to the Saints. Garn has given up 2 walks so far, so there's your 2 free bases. Whereas Willie Lee, 9 up, 9 down. 1-2 count. McCardle yet to strike out, and he does now.
Great pitch.
Not that impressed with the call, but that is strikeout number 3 to Michael Gunn.
You can see on that pitch there, Pycock called that ball outside, and that was a 2-seam ball that just kept going away. An outstanding pitch that clipped the edge, not giving Jordan McCardle anything to hit. So well done there by Pycock and Garn, working together beautifully.
So now Angus Rozier slugging in the regular season 961. Now outside of Little League games, I haven't seen anyone with a slugging average that high.
The only one I've seen is a guy in my team for the Apaches, Luke Kennedy, who he's home watching with his brother Cade and Jed Ops, and yeah, Luke Kennedy used to smash them around the park this season for me.
You haven't got your Apaches here studying the game, doing homework for
They're
you?
home watching it and reviewing it right now. I'll test them tomorrow at presentation.
Great to see so many people from all over the place watching. I know we were talking earlier, and he's commented on the stream as well too. Matt Robbie, who pitched Div 3 for Sturt this year and pitched in the Super League for the Wasps as well too. Helped out big time with the bite. I don't think the bite could exist without the work that Matt Robbie did this year.
Yeah, he was outstanding. And I got an opportunity to earn some money tonight here too, by the way.
Okay.
I've got Stephen Dew coming back to me saying that was south at Thebby. So I'm going to throw it out to the viewers and see who it was.
Right,
was
now,
it south or was it Glenelg?
Garner ahead 1-2 in the count. That one is played over second base. And that is a piece of cake for Creswell. And that is 2 out. what has probably been one of the quicker innings. And look, Garner's starting to settle down. He's retired the last 5 batters. That one a 6-3 ground out. Been a big year for baseball. It sort of never stops, but I guess it started with the Super League, and I think that was a great innovation. The Baseball SA season didn't have any midweek games, replaced by Super League Baseball, which was watched around the country, not just through the Spacequake sports stream. Got on SBS. Always wanted to be a star on SBS. And then, of course, the Adelaide Bite, and that was quite a stellar season. Always, it's very short, the ABL season, but it's very intense. And the Bite improving from last year, and I think showing some great signs for the future. The wrap-up of this season, charter teams being selected for the kids, and then there's a little thing called Olympic qualification later this year before another ABL season. The baseball never stops.
Never does. Charter season up next, and you're quite heavily involved in
Well,
that,
I had training this morning for the junior league with Tony Catt up at Sturt.
Some Sturt kids were in there, I heard.
Yes, they were.
Boy.
And, we should try and get that photo of Angus Catt in his Goodwood hat with his Sturt top.
So we've got ourselves 2 out and a full count. There is no one on. One of the rare full counts we've had today. And this is Holmes, who's found a hit. And that is hit number 3 for Sturt, and they keep this 4th inning alive.
Yeah, we've also got Little League, which I'm involved with the Little League development. We talked about Luke Kennedy, he's in there with my daughter Macy playing. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. We've got Little League development, Little League charter, Junior League development, Junior League charter, and Senior League going on. So it's fantastic for kids these days to be involved with this sport of baseball. There is so many opportunities just here in this state, and then we talk about guys playing in Germany, Czech Republic, playing in America. You know, it is just opening up the world. This is becoming the world game.
Well, we're talking.
There's no need to have an off season.
Matt Macbeth up to plate right now. We talked again earlier about that bottom of the lineup watch.
So this is a play to Cake Bread to Creswell, and there is a quick 3rd out for the leading runner. Holmes is retired, fielder's choice.
So he grounds out there too, and well done pitch there by Michael Gahn. But the 7, 8, 9 batters have each got on base through a hit from Holmes, hit from Macbeth, including an RBI and a walk from Mitch Lightbody. That's again 3 times getting on base at the bottom of the lineup. Just some really, really excellent work again from that Sturt lineup from top to bottom.
It certainly is.
And just while we're having the inning break, I did have a question for you, Scott. From a Sandford perspective that I'm from with footy, I can remember the Eagles in 2000, we won the under-17s, under-19s reserves, became 2nd in the league. We still felt it was a poor season, even though we were 1 win from the Grand Slam. In a baseball perspective, when you've got under-11s and to under-17s and all your Div 7 on up, does everything ride, does the whole season ride on what happens at Div 1 level, or is a success of a season judged a little bit more across the whole club?
It's across the whole club. We call it bookends, you know, and you want to have that, your top end of the Div 1 is doing very well for you and is successful. So you've got your kids coming through, have got something to look at and something to aim for, and parents coming to the club go, hey, this club's switched on, they know what they're doing. And we spend a lot of time, our big word in junior sport is fun and development. We really are about developing our kids, and that's the most important thing. As far as we're concerned, results take care of themselves. If they're developing and getting better, they'll win more games than they won't.
It's great to see, and you sort of mentioned that fun element too, but it's that family element across all the clubs as well too. Yes. You see that with Goodwood. There's a great video that was circulating on Baseball SA earlier with some fathers and sons warming up before the game last night as well too. Yep. There's that great connection with the kids and the family. Same with Sturt. I mean, we were looking through the lineup, but same with Wallace Long earlier. I think we counted 9 different players on the Sturt roster whose parents had played Division 1 for Sturt at some point. Another cool side note, William Worth, this pointed out by Robert Laidlaw. William Worth on Sturt. He is a 5th generation of state representation.
Wow. 5th generation.
5 generations.
Have made state baseball.
Have made state baseball, and he is generation number 4 of that. There's 1 generation more in that Worth family.
Wow. We are at the bottom of the 4th. Goodwood are back to the top of their lineup. It'll be Hughes, Cakebed and Creswell. Right now, Willie Lee's got Hughes exactly where he wants him, down 0-2 in the count. Brings the heater right down King William Street. That's hit right back over his head. And for the first time tonight, Goodwood, the Indians, have a man on base. That is the tying run in a 1-0 ball game.
And we talk about the importance of getting that lead off on. And there it is right there. Owen Hughes coming up, lead off, gets the lead off hit.
Well, that breaks up the no-hitter into the 4th inning here from Wilson Lee. And that was a great at-bat Owen Hughes had right at the beginning of the game. And he goes quickly at him here. And Cakebread, Creswell, and Child, they've been productive. That's what's up now.
Cakebread averaging 321, Creswell 426. So you'd have to say, along with Child averaging 323. This is your 2-3-4, the meat of the order in most teams. Certainly the case here. Certainly the veterans that have been here and done this. And this, I guess, is the advantage Goodwood bring into this series as the defending champs. Just that little bit more poise and experience in the difficult situations, having been here before and prevailed. For Sturt, I wonder at some time when the nerves are going to kick in, when they're on the verge of something special and they start thinking too far ahead rather than the next pitch. Just start thinking about what might be.
Well, we do talk those last 3 outs in baseball. They are the hardest 3 outs.
Is it harder when there's a championship on the line?
Oh, like you wouldn't believe.
Hearts will be in mouths for one side tonight because we may not be here tomorrow. It's a 2-1 count on Josh Cakebread, who ground out. A 3-1 play. It was 0 from 1 last night. Got a run. And just looking to keep Hughes honest. Sun about to set, lights taking their effect. All the other divisions have finished for the day, and this is your last premiership to sort out. Will it be the Indians? Will it be the Saints? Low. And now a chance for Cakebread, something we haven't seen from Willie Lee, getting behind 3-1 in the count.
It's a good time right here where we could see Owen start to run. We've got Josh Cakebread ready to hit, protecting Owen from Matt Macbeth not being able to see him on the left side.
So can he find the gap and left? Hit a bit too hard. Rozier will just swallow it. And that is your first out for the Indians, as Hughes, not surprisingly, holds it first.
Well, as we say, hit them where they ain't. And there's two hard hits that have gone straight down left, 3 hard hits that have gone straight down left field straight. 3 of them.
Here's the other half of the Cakebread Creswell duo that has entertained baseball fans. How long? 15, 18 years they go back, these guys? As fouled up. This could be a very quick second out. It is. And a pretty easy catch there for Holmes.
Wilson Lee's worked very effectively, hasn't he? He's retired. Of the 11 outs he's had, he's only needed 12 batters to face them. They started off taking pitchers, but a bit more aggressive. I don't know if it's much more success. They've got a hit, but really,
it's tight.
Here's Dylan Child. It was Lee's first strikeout victim to start the second. This is the first Goodwood player on base tonight. It'll give an Indian fan some hope as the lead-off man on first with none out, but since then, Cakebread and Creswell heading to fielders. And that one on the outside for a ball.
Interesting there with Sturt having 6. I've got 6 there, Phil, that have been on base with only 1 run.
Only 1 run. 3 hits, 3 walks. So possibly could consider themselves they should be further. But only had the 1 in scoring position, if my maths is right, and that was the run scorer.
Yeah,
Rozier.
There is a bit of a stat there. You know, they say that you'd like to get 50% guys in scoring position to score.
As here's a play, should be pretty easy work for Lightbody. Picks it up, shows some dash, the young lad. And despite giving off the lead-up hitter, that was a pretty quick inning after that. Willie Lee's looking in fine form. It is 1-0 Sturt.
Spacequake Sports, Baseball SA bringing you the grand final here. There's a few people scattered all over the ballpark. Sturt lead 1-0. They haven't won a premiership in 28 years. They haven't been in a grand final in 21 years. Lots on the line, history on the line, but a bit of a different feel to this game than there was last night, wasn't there, Brady?
Oh, there certainly is. It's almost like Sturt feel quite relaxed, and they're not. There's just a bit of difference about them. They almost know what they need to do to get done, and Goodwood, it's almost like they're waiting for their moment to pounce. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, I do. I get it's Sturt's title to lose, not just because they're 1-0 up, but Goodwood are a bit short-handed tonight. But if Goodwood can get up, I almost back them tomorrow because they have that big game experience. As Lightbody, and now Sturt have a lead-off man for the second time today.
Lightbody might be making a case for an MVP type weekend. He had 3 hits last weekend. Or last night. And he's got two times he's been on base today.
And you know those 3 hits, when we talk about just wanting it and wanting to do everything you possibly can to make stuff happen, dropping running bunts, a push bunt to first, you know, running the ball, running hard up the line, just really showing everything you can, and faultless at shortstop.
Well, I've got the 9-hitter, Lightbody, averaging 800 in this grand final series right now.
And one of the times he got out, don't forget, was bases loaded, and he smoked a ball to left field that was over the hill, but it was just foul.
Funny story, Tony Cat was telling me today that he hasn't hit a home run all year, and the boys were up and about when he's hit that one, and stirred him up.
Well, here's the small ball play, and
great pickup.
Wow, that was very well done.
Jeremy Creswell.
By Creswell
stand up and
to
take
retire
your hat off,
Lightbody.
Unbelievable, under enormous pressure. Now here you see the bunt, and he's straight back to the pitcher. Garn jumps out and gets it quickly. He knows he's got to get rid of it quickly with Lightbody bulking up the line there.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup because, correct me if I'm wrong, Nucky's was an under-18 champion a couple of years ago, so very young lad to be your lead-off man.
Yeah, but his numbers suggest that
it's
it
spot
should be
on.
exactly right there.
Yeah.
I'll pull up the numbers right now for Harry Nucky. He's hitting .314 this season in Div 1.
On base .426.
I mean, that's some pretty solid numbers to get you going. And don't forget, he's got that speed about him too, that can help make things happen.
Yeah. So we go to, well, I reckon it's your main man for the MVP the way he's going tonight. Wilson Lee goes long to right centre. Can he find the gap? Yes, he can. It's by the fence. There's going to be a play around third. This is going to be some runs for the Saints. And it is Harrison Nucky scores. We'll work it out with the score if there's an error there with the fumble by the fence. Bottom line is Willie Lee is at third, and he has an RBI, and Sturt have a 2-run lead.
The Caps medalist comes through with a triple.
That ball was smoked. He has hit that hard.
So, yes, a little bit of confusion there was enough for Lee to go around to third. I don't think there was any way that Nucky wasn't going to score once that wasn't caught. Hit to the perfect part of the field to get a lot of bases on that play.
Well, Wilson Lee has pitched brilliantly so far, and he had been struggling a little bit with the bat. It didn't take long for him to turn that around. 1 triple has his stat line looking a whole lot better too.
He smoked that ball, didn't he?
First hit of the final series, made it count.
Dylan Ridding up to bat now.
Ridding was 1 from 6 last night. Of course, when you get 15 hits, you're going to bat around a few times. And they've got 5 hits now, so they're not that far off that pace, actually. They're going to, at this pace, they're going to end up with probably about 10 for the night. They are the #1 offence through the regular season.
They certainly are, and very damaging.
They were averaging 9 hits a game, so their offence is actually producing more in a grand final series than during the season. That's a very good sign.
Got hurt for part of the year, Dylan Ridding. big second half player. It sort of hurt his chances playing with the Adelaide Bite this year when he got hurt for the bulk of that season. But he did get an opportunity last year at the club, and he has been training with them, so he's progressing up the ranks quite nicely as well too, Dylan Ritter.
And of course, would have been part of the Super League, I think, with the Clippers from memory.
Yes, he was.
And certainly from a personal perspective, I've enjoyed the Super League because it's given me a chance to see some of the more local stars in action that might not be in the Bite lineup as much. Like, I mean, I knew Wilson Lee from previously, guys like Terrell Joyce being an example of that. And seeing some of the fringe Bite players as well getting some extra game time. I think the Super League has been a sensational innovation on a lot of levels, and look forward to seeing what year 2 will bring.
Yes, I agree. And from a club point of view, I think it's just going to continue to lift the standard in Baseball SA. And here we are tonight. You know, the game last night for 3/4 of it was a crackerjack game. It was outstanding, and that's got to have some impact on it.
So really now happy to look at that one high. And we've got ourselves a full count with 1 out. And Willie Lee is 90 feet away from making it a 3-run contest. So a walk here won't change the score. A wild pitch might. Certainly a hit into the outfield or even a sac fly could add to the Saints score. As Garn is taking his time to get composed. This is the 4th batter he's faced. He's given up a single, a triple. And that's fouled, and he's stayed at a full count.
That looked like it was just dipping outside and almost cost him a spot on the base pass there.
Yeah. Look back at the Spacequake Sports replay. Usually players, they'll watch this replay over and over again if they win, and they'll never see it again if they lose. This one is a bouncing ball. How will the bounce work? Goes well to Creswell, and that is the 2nd out. And Lee will hold at 3rd.
He made that look easy. I've got to tell you, that is not an easy play. That was a tall hopper, and you're waiting for that ball to come down, and he's motoring up the line. You've got a runner at 3rd. You've got to get that right, and that just goes to show the calibre of that guy, Jeremy Creswell, one of the finest infielders that we've had in our state.
And you've also got to get that throw to first right, because if that gets past first too high or too low or bouncing ball, then suddenly it's a 3-run ball game.
Fraught with danger.
Speaking of which, wild pitch, here is your 3-run lead, and Lee will stroll across home plate. And the Saint fans are starting to get excited.
Well, he just got that one that just slipped away. Not a great delivery from Michael Gahn. And now it becomes a little bit worrisome for the Goodwood Indians. The bases are, though, clear now.
So everything empty for the Saints. 2 out. Joyce at the plate, and he wanted to pop that one over the fence. Got a few up there on the home run hill tonight. One of the nice elements we have here at West Beach. Something we didn't have at Norwood, and something that I don't think is at any other ABL park. You can go behind the home run fence and watch the game from left centre. Oh, yes, left centre. Joyce, he wants to connect.
That's a great pitch.
The guard's making him miss.
That is a great pitch. That's up cheese, right up high.
2-2-2.
It's a Richie.
A Richie. Something's about to happen, and on this occasion it's a foul down the 3rd baseline.
He's just changed a little here. You can just see a little bit of fire coming here from Garney.
Important for Goodwood, they limit the damage. We've seen plenty of games, even in the playoffs, where 3 runs is eminently gettable.
Well, this Goodwood lineup has a lot of weapons in it. I know they're a little depleted, but there's still a lot of guys that can do this, but you certainly do not want to let this lead stretch out a little bit more. That was a thud behind us on that foul ball.
That was heading right for us, I reckon.
Jeez Louise.
So here we go, full count, 2 out. Been a good innings for the Saints. They've put 2 runs on the board.
Says a lot, though. We're in the 5th inning, and this is Terrell Joyce's 3rd at-bat.
And I know, Scott, you're a fan of what happens when batters get to face the same pitcher third time around, things start to happen.
Yes.
And that has been the case.
It certainly has, and that's where, you know, you go back in the dugout and you have a chat about what's he doing, what's he throwing at what time, and make your adjustments. And the game is all about making adjustments, and Sturt have done that.
And well, plenty of, and there's a
Oh,
walk.
that's a good pitch right there. That is just on the outside edge, very close.
Fourth free base.
Ghani was
Given up
starting
by
to walk
Gat.
off.
That was very close.
Yeah, he was walking off the mound. He thought that hit.
I might say again, that was very close.
Wearing his neutral commentator's hat at the moment.
Yes.
As we look at the Spacequake spots, where Jordan McArdle comes to the plate now, ground out to second, struck out. Huge night last night. 3 from 3, 2 walks, home run, 2 RBIs. Certainly has added an element to Sturt in the final series. Hit a couple of home runs here. I remember calling at least 1, possibly 2 from J-Mac during the Bite season. Has 10 home runs at this level this season.
That's a good pitch right there. Got himself behind in the count and then had to come in and throw something there that Jordan McArdle didn't want to go after.
Sturt have 4 batters slugging over 800 with over 10 home runs this season. So that one is hit high. Should be playable if they can work out a fielder to get it. And it's dropped, and we're going to have a 4th run. Terrell Joyce, love the hustle. He decided, given it was 2 out, as soon as contact was made, he was off. And with the drop, he was already at 3rd, and that's a 4th run to the Saints. And a costly error. I assume that's got to be given an error, Scott. No one touched it.
No one touched it, so I'm not quite sure what they'll call that, but that had some serious hang time. That ball was up there for a long time, and coming off a left-hander, there's a bit of tail on that ball, so that ain't an easy catch to get. And great base running there by Terrell.
Were they all playing sort of a shift a bit more to the right as well too?
I think they might have been too. So he's got to come across, back and across.
So after Lightbody singled and was then out on a fielder's choice, Nucky has scored, Lee has scored, Joyce has scored, McArdle's at second. In these kind of games, how it's scored really doesn't matter. It's all about the result.
Just keep the scoreboard ticking over. And for the opposition, for Goodwood right now, it's a case of you've got to stop the bleeding here. You know, to me, it's a time where there needs to be where Pycock's got to go out and just settle Garn down here and get back onto the plan. What is the plan? How are they going to go about this? And you know, it's a lonely position out there if you don't have help. And when that stuff like that happens, you need someone to just talk to and settle you down.
Yeah, hard to put that one on the pitcher, but it might end up that way if they don't.
That's right.
If they say no one had a glove on it, it's just one of those that drops in the right spot where they ain't.
And I just have had a text message, or I had to send a message through to the coach of that winning grand final, Mark Haylock, and he has text back that yes, it was Glenelg. So
Glenelg.
I might text you through my
big win,
BSB number, Dewey.
Yeah, put that over the broadcast.
Put that on the bar. I'll buy you guys a beer.
All right. So 1-2 count, 2 out. This 3rd out is proving problematic for the Indians. And it's Rozier, who's already got a run, been walked and ground out to short.
And again, when you're looking at the lineup, you know, we started off with Harrison Nucky being the lead-off. You know, Lightbody the lead-off. So you're talking Lightbody, Nucky, Lee, Redding, Joyce, McArdle, Roger. It doesn't get any easier as it goes through.
The worst batting average is 291, and that hitter is averaging 800 in this series. Well, there is no easy out in the Sturt Saints lineup at the moment.
We talk about number 9 and we give him a bit of a title as the second lead-off, you know, and that they can really get things going for you. And, you know, Mitch Lightbody has actually done that brilliantly.
That's how it's done. Yeah, the lead-off for the lead-off.
Especially a guy with so much speed like Lightbody.
That's right. Well handled there by Pycock on the breaking ball in the dirt.
So calling colleague Fraser Fife, and if Fraser's watching, good evening to you, has a term about a game being slammable. And that's where we are at the moment. It's a 4-run margin. You load the bases, 1 hit, we've got ourselves a tied ball game. Theory being, there's a big difference between a 5-run deficit and a 4-run deficit.
And we actually do talk about that in the game. You know, you'd be mindful of going to the 4, not going to 5 runs.
Really is happy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Baseball SA has a pitch count limit. Is it 105?
105. I verified this today. 125 for the series. If you throw 60, you can. If you throw under 60, you can pitch the next day, and then your limit is 125 for the whole series.
Okay. So Garn, we're in the.
So he's past his 60, so he'd be well and truly past that.
We're probably not at the 100 mark yet, but this one is being worked out.
Wow.
Eventually, Garn gets the strikeout. That is strikeout number 4. Unfortunately, 3 runs have scored for the Sturt Saints, and they are in the box seat. They lead 4-0 as we're halfway through this contest.
Well, we're at the halfway point, and just a couple small mistakes from Goodwood being magnified, and that's just how good this Sturt lineup is. If you make a mistake, there's going to be someone there that's waiting to burn you.
Exactly, and again, we talk about limiting the free bases and an opportunity. You get that ball, you got to make the plays, and that's so important, and that's where you give the other team an opportunity. They're going to score some runs for you. And that's one thing that when you've got an offense like Sturt has, they've got guys that are going to keep coming at you, and we talk about that. And if you're not ready for that and don't take the most of the opportunities, they will hurt you.
Let's go.
We're getting a score check right now, so if you're wondering at home what the pitchers are at their pitch counts, much like we're wondering right now, got a couple gophers going to get that information for you as well too.
This is what's great about having you in the lineup, Eric. You have your connections.
Yeah, you gotta make those connections to get that information there. So it'll be good. Yeah, I mean it's important to know, especially because Willie Lee, I feel like he's on a pretty low count right now.
Well, he's been working beautifully. We talked about, at the moment, there's been 13 batters that Willie Lee's had to face. You look at
look at that. There's a car park there.
That's not good.
A broken windshield out in the diamond there. So
Windscreens O'Brien.
Oh dear.
Can we give them a plug? Speaking of plugs, Concept Data at home watching. Gary Paradise. Thanks for watching.
Someone's going to be
Thanks for your support.
So at the moment, Garn has faced 25 batters. Lee has faced 13. Almost twice as many.
Well, and there your update there is Michael Gaughan's actually done for the day. 106 pitches, so that's it.
And we'll need to see next innings. Like this is the Goodwood has still got to have their bat.
Yeah. So 60 pitches though for Wilson Lee heading into this inning. So big difference.
Oh yeah, big difference right here. And we talked about that last night with Jacko. He was so economical that he got through to the 8th and Tyler in 5.
And his was quite interesting because there weren't a lot of strikeouts, there weren't a lot of balls.
2 strikeouts.
It was all bats in play. So right now it's Wigmore, Garn and Pycock with some work to do. Just see, so Garn still needs to bat, or they would make the swap of hitter now, would they?
Well, this will be interesting to see. There's Fidge, there's Watkins, there's a few that they've got.
Well, what I think is probably going to happen is Gaughan and Watkins will just do a straight swap, considering that Matty Watkins Michael Gaughan played there last night, and Matty Watkins has some time to pitch and pitched in all 3 last time.
Meanwhile, this has played out to right. And again, Goodwood, they are hitting them where they are at the moment.
That's
Managed to pick out the right fielder in Nucky. And that's a quick 1 out. And so we have had 14 batters, 13 retired.
And that's the 4th one hit straight down an outfielder's throat.
Wilson Lee just looks so relaxed out there, and it was great. I had a great conversation with Jackson Brebner-Russ, and I said, because he told me as this one's bunted out foul, he told me that he was nervous in the first inning last game, and you could see that, but he started to settle in, get more relaxed, and he was brilliant after that. And he said he thought maybe Willie was a little nervous as well too. You know, all the
Yep.
hoopla in the week. It's a lot of pressure and expectation. You know, it was probably good that Wilson Lee's starting game 2. He can get the nervy one out of the way when
That's
he's
right.
just batting. He can come in there. He's relaxed. They've got a lead, and off Wilson Lee goes.
Well, we saw him, he didn't get a hit last night, but what a catch that he took. Right at that time when you're saying Jacko's nervous, that ball gets past him. There's two more runs. Right there.
Meanwhile, Garn is struck out, and that is K number 5 tonight for Lee.
Wilson.
We're having quite a night as we go to Craig Pocock, and looks like Lee is on the verge of getting through a very quick 5th innings here.
Yeah, Wilson Lee, you feel like we're just watching him put together something special that you don't always get to see. You know, he's an MVP and he's trying to back it up, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Well, of course, he was the MVP in the German Bundesliga as well, where he led the league in ERA and batting average.
That's hard to do.
One season, and you know the German league is no slouch. It's one of the best leagues in Europe.
And just to do that alone, no matter what league you're in.
Yeah, exactly right. So Pocock now, 1-1 count, 2 out. Hits that hard, but in the end it's just a little pop-up, and there you go. We are through 5. If you are a Sturt Saint fan and you're in the vicinity, I'd suggest you get down to the ballpark. It is 4-0 Sturt.
New pitcher, the pitch count has been eclipsed, we should say, from Michael Gaughan. So we have a new pitcher on the mound for Goodwood. I don't see Michael Gaughan out in the field at all, do you? Is he out of the game completely? I would have thought they would have kept him in the lineup, but
yeah, well,
maybe
looks
not.
like Matty Watkins is at right field still.
Oh, it's Darren Finch. I should have said that. I mean, that infamous number 37. You know the delivery, you know the stature. The specimen Darren Finch back out on the mound, and he's tasked with keeping this a 4-run ball game.
Yeah, and we saw uncharacteristic like Darren Finch last night. Hit pitch ball, walk, hit pitch ball. You know, you would get Fidji 1,000 times to pitch, and you wouldn't see that happen. You know, and it's just one of those things that the beauty of this game. Sometimes you're going to make those mistakes, and he will be here ready to make amends for that. There's no doubt about that. He is a fighter. There's a reason why he's a 3 times Caps medalist, 5 times best and fairest for Goodwood. He'll battle as hard as he can right now.
So he pitched 77 innings during the regular season last night, 1 1/3, 2 hits, 3 earned runs. I've got a walk and 2 hit batters, so I've got that mixed up the wrong way. One of the veterans, and that's what Goodwood need to rely on right now to stem the flow, and then
Got to
see
score
off
runs.
Lee and try and find a way for a revival.
Got to score runs right now, and this is the problem right here, is not scoring runs.
So if you just joined us, Sturt's 4 runs, 1 at the top of the 2nd, 3 at the top of the 5th. They lead 4-0 as we head into the 6th inning. For Sturt, it is going to be Holmes, Macbeth, Lightbody. Yes, it is 7, 8, 9, but all 3 have a hit tonight. And halfway through this ball game, Sturt, already 8 of their 9 players have reached. After last night, all of their 9 players reached.
Well, they are starting to feel like this game's starting to slip away a little bit for Goodwood. Sturt, you can taste it.
Well, especially when you're talking, you know, what Willie Lee would now be at
70 pitches?
75 at worst. You know, he's still got 30 left. You know, he's got plenty up his sleeve.
He can go the distance. It's unbelievable.
He potentially could.
Probably
we're still talking. There's 4 innings.
2 innings in.
I reckon there's 2. There's 2 that are cracking. You know, the thing is, Goodwood will be thinking right here, we can get through to him. Then we go to the pen. There's 2 innings we can have a crack right here.
Well, Sturt's pitching this season has been interesting. We'll get to that maybe when we're back up here. There's a comebacker. Well picked up by Fidge. Not the easiest play, but there is your first out.
Yeah, great play there by Fidji. He, you know, again, it shows his athleticism to be able to react to a ball like that, knock it down and get the out.
All season, and this is a 34-game season, Sturt have used a total of 6 pitches over a 34-game season.
Wow.
Yeah, it's economical.
The least of those is Terrell Joyce with 14, Tinder with 57 innings, Lee 79, Chappell 41, Brevner Russ and Lightbody the other one. But just 6 pitches through the minor round. I'm not sure about the playoffs.
Can you run through those innings again?
Yeah, but I'm going to need to find my torch.
Sorry, mate. Just in regards to my question that I'm going to come to is, so the back end of the 3, 4, 5 pitches haven't had much inning time. Is that what we're getting at? Where are they? What were they at? 40?
Here we go.
40 odd?
So Lightbody's appeared twice. Jackson Brevner Russ 8 and 2. He's got a bulk load of the innings, and he's actually And then you've got Tyler Chappell. He's had 18 appearances. Wilson Lee 18, Terrell Joyce 17, and Joshua Tyndall 18.
So we're talking Tyndall and Chappell are the next 2 that are going to be in line right here.
Yeah. And so that'll be Tom Bryce's decision.
And both give such significant different looks. But first, I mean, before we get to the bullpen, Goodwood need to find a hit off Willie Lee if they want to get back in this game.
You got to score a run to win, right?
And they've got to stop giving up
5 to win here.
3 bases. That's another walk.
There it is.
They scored 2 in the first of the first game, Goodwood, and since then they've just put up the 1.
Yep, they've been outscored 14-1 after that first inning.
4 in total. 4 runs in total. 3 last night.
3 last night.
1 here.
1 here. None here for Goodwood.
None here, sorry.
So 3 runs in total, but they've put 2 in the first and then 1 after that.
There's a nice hit to left. Everyone advances the base. Macbeth is on second. Lightbody. He is 2 from 2 tonight.
Another hit.
He's 5 from 6. By my maths, he's averaging 840 this series.
Can you hear that? I hear something chant. Is that an MVP?
Very close.
He is putting up a very good resume, Mitch Lightbody here.
And this one here just sat up on the Fidge slider, just a little up too much, and Lightbody making sure that one paid for that mistake.
I'm going to call it, gentlemen. We're 1 out. Sturt have 2 on. I reckon this is the championship right here. If Sturt convert anything, I can't see Goodwood coming back.
It's a good part of the lineup to have here too. Harry Nucky being productive.
That's a good pitch right there. That's a good pitch coming in with that 2-seam, just drifting in nicely. And again, this is where Fidge is so effective. He can come in with that 2-seam, and now he's going to come in potentially with that slider away.
As that said, a double play. If Fidji can get the ground, a double play, well, that's going to be another hit to left. We'll see the speed. No, Macbeth will hold up. And we've got ourselves bases loaded with 1 out.
Just hitting
and Sturt, here's your moment.
Just keep coming. They just keep coming, don't they? You know, there's 2 kids in this club that have come up, stood up and want to be a part of it, that have had very good series, Lightbody and Macbeth.
Make no mistake about it, it's been a dream season for Wilson Lee. Dominant on the mound, dominant with the bat. He capped it off with a Caps medal on Wednesday night, and right now, with bases loaded, Wilson Lee has a chance to put it in too much distance ahead to cap off what would be an incredible season.
A hit with the speed. We've got Nucky and Lightbody. Lightbody at third, Nucky. Sorry, we've got Macbeth at third, Lightbody at second, Nucky at first. That is a lot of speed. Something in the right place here could clear the bases and really set this up for the Saints. All the ones on the outside, and Lee gets ahead in the count. He had the big triple. We're going to call it the RBI triple to right centre that scored a couple of runs. He's been walked and he's struck out. It's been his night. And he fouls to make it 2-2.
I think you're going to see here, you see Darren Fitch going away, then coming in. It's what we call, you're going to nibble around the edges. You're not going to give Willie Lee something that he can drive like he did last time. And it's really important here that Fitchy throws his pitches right now.
2-2 on Lee. The righty puts that one up. That looked hittable to me. Right a bit high, but right across the Sturt logo. But left, full count, 1 out, loaded bases. Fidge goes lows, hit to suit, double chance, double play chance. It is.
Wow!
Sturt load the bases, they load them but leave them. And the Indians just dodged a really big bullet.
Oh, they certainly did there, and great pitching there by Fidji, working in and out and getting that ground ball to second base and handing it over to the daily duo of Cakebrett and Creswell, and then over to Wigmore for the double play. So out of trouble, be very happy to get out of that innings unscathed, and now it's time for the Goodwood Indians to rally and get up and out.
Well, talk about a chance to turn some momentum. Right there, it was visions of the season being over right there, and now they have a chance to string together some hits, and this is a chance.
Well, we talked about it last night, how finals are seesaw events. You know, you're playing, these are the two best teams in the competition. One's going to have a run, the other has to have a run because they're good, and Goodwood did it last night. They got their 2 runs, then Sturt came, then Goodwood came, then Sturt came, and it went back and forth. Tonight we've seen Willie Lee being so powerful. Sturt have had 2 kicks at the can where they've scored runs. Goodwood hasn't had a time yet.
I'm reminded of the famous sports philosopher, Rocky Balboa. It's not about how you can hit, it's how you can get hit and keep moving forward. Goodwood have been under the pump, they've been hit all over the shop, they've fired one back now. Can they keep moving forward and stay in this game? Because as Rocky would say, that's how winning is done.
Well, I'll throw another quote in there, and we talked about Mark Haylock coming to our club and making such a difference. One of the big things he talked about is it might not be your day, but it can be your moment. You know, and there's plenty of guys here that haven't had their day, they haven't had their series yet. Now is your moment to step up and produce.
Well, and the moment would come from the bottom 4 in the Goodwood lineup, which has 1 hit between them thus far. Matty Watkins, great opportunity for Goodwood right here to get some positive energy after turning that big double play.
Well, Willie Lee has struck out 5, walked none.
You got a brick wall to run through here.
1 hit.
You got a brick wall to run through, and you want to run through that brick wall.
So it's Matty Watkins who flies one up, and that will land in the shark tank.
We're talking now the bottom of the 6th. You've seen him, you've studied him, you've worked on him. Now you've got to go at him.
But Wilson Lee, on the other hand, from that Sturt side, this guy, Wilson Lee, 1 hit through 5 innings. He's come out so relaxed and dealing, and they've got some great bullpen still to come. So Sturt, this is set up so nicely from them. They've played so well. They've relied on this relentless batting lineup, and they've done a fantastic job.
The only thing about Sturt is they're not used to being in this position recently. I think of their 6 games they've played, 2 of the last 6-7 games, 2 of them have been ties, 4 of them have been 1-run games. There's only 1 blowout in that whole lot. They've been playing close baseball for about the last 4 weeks.
That's a great sign from a team. They just know how to win baseball games, because any ball game you can chalk up to just 2 or 3 moments that you need to go in your way.
Strikeout number 6, Wilson Lee.
He just keeps on rolling, Willie Lee, and Toby Baldock will come to the plate.
No, this is Fidge.
Oh, Darren Fitch, sorry.
So Fidge, who's averaging 167 this season. 3 RBI, no home runs. Walked once, struck out once. On base percentage, 313, not bad, but he'll take a first pitch strike. So that means they're going to keep Garn in the lineup as a hitter, and Fidge will replace Baldock. He goes with a long hit. That's looking pretty good out there. With a space in right. It's fair. It's over the fence.
Great
Should be
shot,
a ground rule
Fidge.
double.
Darren Fidge, ground rule double. Who had Darren Fidge to be the second hit of the ball game?
That's why they call him the specimen. He is a pure athlete that can do it all. Look, I have seen him with his own bat. He won a preliminary final against West Torrens a few years back off his own bat and pitched an outstanding game.
If you go and talk to Darren Fidge, would he be surprised that he did that?
No, not at all, and neither are we. That is Fidge 101.
So they try and emulate, and that is going to be fouled away.
And the club guy that he is, you know, I said to you, this is the time you've got to stand and deliver. This is the time someone's got to take the bull by the horns. Fidge, club legend, gets up there and goes, come on boys, this is how you do it. Outstanding work.
For the first time tonight, the Indians have a player in scoring position with and they have it with just one out. So this is their best shot to get something on the scoreboard, try and get back in the game. This is a pop-up. It should be an easy out to Holmes. Oh! And he bobbled it just for a moment, but recovered.
A little bit of a tease.
When luck falls your way, luck falls your way.
Watch this on the Space Quack as the heart skips a beat. Oh.
When it's all going your way,
it's going your way.
Break, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have that compared with the play out and left that scored a couple of runs for Sturt.
Just one run would help for Goodwood, but Wilson Lee continues to carve up this Sturt lineup. The champion he is.
And now we saw Josh Cakebread last at bat. He laser beamed one to left field. That was a cracking shot. This guy hit 2 home runs in game 1 against West Torrens last series. So he can hit. Lefty-lefty matchup is always a challenge.
And we look at how these teams got here. Sturt, the minor premiers, beat Henley and Grange in 2 and then beat Port Adelaide in 2 one-run games. No playoff series in Division 1, and we've had 5 so far, has gone to a 3rd game. They've all been decided in 2 so far.
Have you ever seen a final series with all sweeps?
No. Not that I can remember.
Had plenty of one-run games. We had the 14-13 game. Goodwood beat West Torrens to be here. If my memory serves me right, Willie Lee scored the winning run to beat Port Adelaide in game 2 on a wild pitch. No shortage of drama. As now, here's a chance for Cakebread. 3-1 ahead in the count, but 2 out. A chance for the Indians, but can they take it? And now it's a full count. Full count, 2 out. Man in scoring position, the Indians desperate.
And 2 of the stars in Baseball SA here. Willie Lee, Caps medalist, Josh Cakebread, superstar of baseball.
They've already faced off in 1 grand final, the Super League, which the Crushers won. As that one is played up, where's it going to land? And in the end, a great job in coverage by Nucky.
That's a great catch there by Nucky.
Fidge is stranded at second. The Indians remain scoreless. We will go to 7. Eric Bolnar is primed and ready to bring you home this season. You're watching the SA Baseball Grand Final, thanks to Space Quake Sports. Welcome back, everyone. There's Darren Fidge, and he's got some work to do, as have the Goodwood Indians. We are into the 7th. The Saints have waited 28 years, and they are 9 outs away and have a 4-run cushion. The Indians trying to wrest some momentum back, stop the Saints in their tracks with loaded bases, got Fidge in scoring position, but could not convert into a run. It's a 4-0 ball game. To call us home tonight, you're with the most excitable commentator I have ever met. His name is Eric Bolnar.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks to everybody joining us here. 3 innings to go between Sturt and a championship. They've dominated wire to wire. They started the season off winning 9 games in a row. A little Christmas blip, but man, oh man, they only have dropped 3 games and 3 total games all season long. The women won the Divi 1, and Sturt have played this grand final series like they have all year with dominance. They are relentless and they are talented, but Goodwood still have 9 outs to work with, and as you said, this game is slammable as Dylan Ridding swings through that one.
An interesting stat here, 8 hits to 2, Sturt 8, Goodwood 2. So, you know, you got to come and you got to get some hits there. People have got to follow Fidge's lead.
That chop foul as well, too. Darren Fidge, such a tough task to just keep this game in reach.
And no free bases.
No free bases, there you go.
So Sturt have given Goodwood nothing, and Goodwood have struggled to convert something into runs.
This hit hard down the line, and that is just foul. If it gets into that alley down in left field here at West Beach, that is screaming trouble.
Well, an interesting
Not as much
thing,
as right field.
5 free bases, I count, Phil, for 4 runs. We talked about it.
Yep, so that's
5v0,
so
4v0.
13 Saints on base, 2 Indians on base.
You just can't do it. We talk about that at Adelaide Bite level. You can't give the free bases to good teams. They'll hurt you.
Yep.
You got to make your plays. You got to make your pitches in tight games. You got to do those little things.
Right now, it's about stemming the flow. Fidge was able to do it despite loading the bases.
Chop foul, so a good at bat here from Dylan Ridding. This Sturt lineup just works you over and wears you down. They keep coming at you and coming at you and coming at you and coming at you, and as soon as you blink,
Ridding is the only Sturt player not to get on base so far tonight.
it would be remarkable if they could go 2 straight nights with everybody on base. It's grounded and he's gonna get on base.
Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it.
Right on cue.
Time for me to leave.
Dylan Ridding gets on base, and all 9 Sturt players have got aboard once again.
What are you going to say about Goodwood? They haven't scored this game. Let's get some runs.
Yeah, something like that. Well, we talked about the commentator's curse, and
That's right.
I reckon that was a poignant moment. Obviously, Indian fans are not particularly happy, but this doesn't affect what's happening on the field. And yeah, another hit for Sturt.
Terrell Joyce to the place. He bunts this forward. This is a great bunt. Throw over to first, and it's wild. Joyce tumbles down, and he's down hard.
Oh dear.
Oh boy.
He's not moving either.
He's knocked out hard. Run scores, but more importantly, Terrell Joyce is down. He knocked into that hard. This is frightening.
Well, his leg's moving, and that's some relief, because if they don't move, it means knocked out. If he's moving, it means there's some consciousness.
Sturt takes the lead, but our attention is on Terrell Joyce. And Goodwood as well, too. Goodwood, Sturt, doesn't matter what club you're part of. This is...
Well, Ben Wigmore's right there with him, and which again, we talk about what a great guy Ben is, and he's trained in this sort of stuff, so very handy to have him right there.
Well, a run has scored, but it doesn't matter. This is Terrell Joyce hustling down the line in a collision, and I think it was just awkward. And you see David Lightbody signaling for someone to come out here as well too.
And how's that? There is Ben Wigmore right there by him. right by his side, making sure he's okay.
If this isn't a sign of the camaraderie and respect and sportsmanship, but this is not fun to watch.
No, it's not.
Now,
he's moving. This is
thank
great.
goodness.
This is fantastic. He's up. Terrell Joyce, so competitive, so clutch, and such a gamer. Here's the replay here, and you see him heart and hustle down the line. Oh, and it was just collision to the helmet, and he was down right away.
You could see his head has hit Ben Wigmore's elbow on the impact. As Ben's gone up to get that ball, you watch the throw. Ben's up, bang.
And it's not Ben's fault that it's a bang play, but Ben is one of the nicest guys you know, and he will just feel.
Well, look at him right there.
And well, remember, Ben though works at a sport physio clinic, and he deals with injuries and he deals with these sort of things all the time. He's actually probably the perfect guy to have standing right there. Our thoughts are with Terrell Joyce. I'm so glad to see him sitting up. I'm so glad because he looked like he was knocked out there, and Terrell Joyce is up. Thank goodness. He'll be dazed and he'll be confused.
But he scored a run.
He's driven in a run.
And again, here you go. I've got to talk about this one. You're 4-0 up, and he's dropped the running bunt. You know, this is a guy that is known for his power. He's gone 0 for 2 with a walk, and he wants to get on base.
And he
drops the bunt
he knows
down.
that he can move it
Scratching,
forward.
hungry, wanting.
He's trying to put this game out of reach, and that is a selfless effort from Terrell Joyce with an incredible run down there. He's walking, he's talking, he's giving high fives. I'm sure, I think there must be some sort of concussion protocol or something,
it would be.
Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to see Terrell Joyce up there. That was scary.
Yep.
And well, I should add, great camera work by the Spacequake Sports guys to get us to different angles. And yeah, when you saw that first picture of him lying motionless like he was having a sleep there at first base, I think he was knocked out. He had to have been knocked out for part of that, just wasn't moving whatsoever. Thankfully came to, had the attention he needed, and it's great to see him come off with his own steam, and he's done his job.
You hate to see that, and I'm just so glad that it doesn't look like there's anything worse than that, but it's the heart and hustle of Division 1 and in Division 3. Anders Lindberg, third baseman for Division 3 Tigers, he was running over and it was a bang collision play with Craig Handy, the pitcher, and shout out to Anders if he's watching right now. I know he's in the hospital getting his knee looked at right now. He had to be taken out of the game, but that was the same thing. It was heart and hustle, just trying to get to a ball to close out a game.
Simon Adkins comes in as the pinch runner for Sturt. As they're just trying to work out the play. At the moment,
well,
the
question is, I think, too, I mean, the run should be scored either way, but I don't know if there's a replay of the whole thing. I think the umpires are talking about if a runner needs to go back to third base at all or not. Because Ridding was at first.
And there wasn't an out. There wasn't an out,
but the ball was thrown away on an error.
No, I would say they would keep that.
That should be a kept
he
run.
scored.
Viggi will reset himself.
Yep. Because, you know, that ball's still in play.
Yeah, it should
it's
be
not
a run.
as if the runner, Terrell, was in the way. He wasn't in the way. It'd be different if he was in the way and everyone stopped to make sure he's okay.
It's not as if it got caught in the netting.
That's
like
in
you
Melbourne.
guys had in Melbourne.
Oh, let's not bring that one up.
No comment.
Yeah, wow.
Darren Fidge warming up on the mound right now. That run gets by on, again, those, we talked about, you can't make those little mistakes, and it was a bang play. And I know that it didn't turn out well for Terrell Joyce, but that throwing, I don't know if it's going to go down as an error in the books, but that comes up there from Terrell Joyce just barreling and pushing down the line.
Hustle,
you call it an error, but was that a gimme out?
Not with Terrell running like that.
That's right. So I'm not sure if you would call it an error.
No, I would.
You would?
Yep.
Okay.
You got to make those plays. You got to make that
You
throw.
got him because he was off the bag when he made the catch.
And look, it's not an easy play.
Or is the error on the throw?
The error's on the throw.
The error's on the throw. Okay. Okay.
Well, thank goodness that Terrell Joyce is okay and he can stick around and cheer on his Saints. Right now, Jordan McCardle steps in as we reset.
So it's still none out, and the Saints have one on now in Atkins.
Jordan McCardle's had a great weekend. Yesterday, he got on base all 5 times and struck out once today, though. He reached on an error in the last inning. He has put so much pressure on this team. The Goodwood team, that is, Sturt. Shouldering a load of big in this weekend.
So McCardle's a Sturt junior?
Yes. Went to West Torrens and back to Sturt.
One with West Torrens in his 1 year he was there.
That's right. I remember him being with West Torrens at that time.
His dad played Division 1 and Division 2. Chris McCardle.
Grew up playing with Mitch Lightbody. Guys like Dylan Ridding, and the runner's going. Swings through that one, throw over to second, and sliding in there safely is Simon Adkins.
Well done to the young lad. I assume it's a young lad out there as the pinch runner.
Jordan McCardle now has a runner in scoring position with no out.
You think about some of the lineage of the Sturt Baseball Club. 28 years, no premiership.
And so many legends that have played on that club during that time as well, too.
They've been unfortunate as a club because, you know, and forgive me, I'm bound to get someone missed out of here. You got Mark Hutton, Tom Becker, Tom Bryce, Mildren. You know, there's 4 straight away that have gone off and played professional baseball. And there's a great pitch there by Fidji striking out Jordan McCardle. But, you know, they lost. When I say lost, guys went and played professional baseball, and that kills your club. You know, you've done the right thing. You've developed these juniors.
It's sort
you
of
don't
what your club exists to do. Is it a bit easier now, Scott, with the shorter season, so that you do get the players at the start and the end?
No, well, because they pack up. They're gone. Like, you know, as we saw, Jordan was going to be gone, and there's the intentional walk to Angus Roger. You know, and again, as you would, you want to load up the bases here. Sorry, not load up bases, put runners at first and second, looking for a double play. So that's just the standard thing that you would do with one out, looking for a double play.
Now that's a free base still? You're going to call that a free base?
That's a free base. It is a free base. You're forced to put yourself in that situation to go to Holmes here, but you lose them. They leave it early March and they're gone. So, you know, and some guys...
Just like Curtis Mead with West Torrens.
That's right, that's right. You know, imagine West Torrens having him right now, or, you know, the last
maybe that's that one run that they had versus
Goodwood.
Goodwood.
Exactly. So it does hurt you. And, you know, having Mildren, Becker, Hutton, there's 3 pitches right there.
We're sitting in Hutton's grandstand.
We are indeed. Yeah. I guess one of the things with that, though, and I see it with Sandford footy players going AFL, and sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. But I think most of the players at baseball level, having come through that club at a junior level, once their pro career is done, generally they will give something back to the club at the end.
Well, look at this guy out here on the mound. You know, with Minnesota Twins, 7 years in that program, and at one stage he was on his way and was fast tracking through that organisation. Unfortunately, injury cut him short, but recovered and then had a great career with the Bite. Continued on, you know, came back, had got released, had been injured and got himself better, worked hard and comes back out and gives back to Baseball SA through the Bite and through Goodwood. So, you know, and Tom Bryce has done the same.
Paul Holmes waiting a long time for a premiership. Throw over to third, did they get him? He got him! A great catch and throw him out. They tried to put the double steal on lead runner Simon Adkins, thrown out.
So Fidge reckons that's a strikeout and a throw out, and that's the end of the inning.
Yep, he knows. He knows.
It's a strike him out, throw him out, and look at Fidge go.
And again, that's the thing.
He's got the scoring down, Pat.
He knows the situation. You're talking about this guy, he has got the fire in the belly that these other guys have got to get around Fidji and have that fire. There it is, there's the pitch, calls a strike, and there's the tag.
Gracie not liking that one. And here's a good angle.
This is a great angle, and there is a rule, don't be the third out at third. He got a good jump. The throw's up.
Yeah.
Sweet tag.
I think what you saw from the last shot was that Atkins was sort of forced to go around a little bit.
Yes,
He
yes.
couldn't quite get a direct shot at the path.
Yep.
And that just slowed up the couple of milliseconds to be out, not safe.
Well, it's festive blue everywhere across here. There, you saw a great shot. Look at this slow motion replay. Here's the list. Was he safe? Oh, man.
Look at that hand.
He's on top of the bag. I don't know if we get that replay again
He's
there.
got his hand there.
That looks like he was safe. Let's see that again if we can.
And have a look at the positioning of the umpire.
That is an unbelievable shot and job done by David Muggleton and the Space Quick Sports team there. Great camera work as well, too. Here's another one.
Well said, Phil.
Here it is. Oh, that one is maybe a bit. Oh,
that one looked even closer.
Well, look, look for this way. The umpire is right there. That's what they're there for, to make the call.
Like
we could look at that 50 times and struggle to make the call.
Well, put it this way. We've seen two different angles in slow motion, and we're wondering if he was safe or out. And the umpire sees it in real time from an angle right next to it. I mean, it's so hard to know. Here's this angle that was interesting. It's so weird because he's covering the bag, so you can't really see where his hand is here.
Exactly. I think it's the view that umpire Ian Revel had. And look at Tom Bryce. But he was up and down. And that hand, see that hand there? That looks like that hit the base first. But from the angle of Ian Revel with the sweep tag, the sweep tag is the one that you try and sell it in those positions.
See,
it's
all about angles of shots. From that shot from centre field, it looks like Ian Revel's view is blocked. But you look at the view from third base, and you can see there's a clear view from that spot. So, in the end, what we think doesn't really matter. And
someone's coming off here.
That's that Terrell Joyce. Yeah, Terrell Joyce. He went out into the left field to warm up Simon Atkins, I think, and Terrell Joyce getting a great round of applause for an unbelievable season with Sturt. Oh, he slammed that down there. I think so. He was subbed out of the game as a pinch runner. Did he just forget maybe that he was subbed out? I'm not too sure what happened there.
I think he did forget. That's bizarre.
Well, he remembered what happened. He did get hit in the head. And
when you get a pinch runner for you, you're out of the game.
He is, but and so, Terrell did, and that was a hard one. If you missed it earlier, Terrell Joyce running down the line, caught an elbow from Ben Wigmore in a bang play. He was knocked out cold.
Here we go.
Like right away.
And you can see Ian Revel right on that.
But you know what? Great.
And again, like you said, real time.
Or did his hand come off?
Best judgment there. You know, umpire of the year multiple times. Former Caps medalist. He's played the game. He knows the game, and makes that call.
Jeremy Creswell hits this over to short. Well taken. Lightbody zips it across the diamond. It's low, and he is out.
Another play there by Lightbody.
And I mean, I might live to regret these words, but I don't think that decision is going to have an impact on the result we're seeing tonight.
No, but it's an interesting thing. You never be the third out at third. That's something we talk about. You know, what are you going to achieve from that? You know, you're at second with some speed. You're 5 up, but hey, push the envelope. Why not? But what do you got to lose? A run? So what? Doesn't matter. You're 5 up.
Because it was only 1 out. It was a double play ball.
That's right.
So you could understand the run if it was 2 out.
Look, it just goes to show the aggression of Sturt Baseball Club. You know,
true.
They are coming at them, and they'll take the risk and make things happen.
Well, and that all came down. That inning all started really with Terrell Joyce hustling down the line. He got a great ovation walking off the field there, and going back to that, and that shows the great amount of support and respect that Sturt has for both ways there. And I know that he's done a great job with the T-ball program over at Sturt as the coach there and helping run a big chunk of what goes on at that ball club. So Terrell Joyce has really embraced the Sturt culture, and they're on the verge of winning something, and he deserves every bit of credit that has happened so far.
Hang on.
I did see him out with the juniors, under 15s. He was out coaching them at one stage.
Here's a pitch. This is just dropped out. He's been a big contributor to the baseball community the last few years, coming back too. Great guy, Terrell Joyce. Great guy to have around.
And look, we talk about the value of having imports come back to play in this competition. We need to get them involved. We need that expertise. We need them helping. We've got Tyler Thompson coming out for us. Michael Garn working with pitchers. Terrell with their program. You know, it's exactly what you want to see in baseball to develop these juniors.
Dylan Child has this just go inside. So Wilson Lee fighting control just a little bit right now. Matt McBeth takes a tumble as well. Wilson Lee, though, heading into the inning, he was on, I have the pitch count for you somewhere. but he's been pretty excellent. 86 heading into this inning.
Okay.
So he'll get through this inning, and then if he can get through it efficiently, he'll get to go out there for the 8th inning. But Wilson Lee has given a wonderful performance to give them every opportunity. This is hit into foul territory. Holmes chasing this down. Does he have a play that just zipped up there on the Adelaide Bites Shark Tank? So Dylan Child battling away here.
We've seen Dylan a few times where he's been caught with that ground ball to shortstop. I reckon 3 times he's just opened up that shoulder just a tad. This is where he's got to look to the big part of the field. You can see out there at centre right, it is a big field. Try and drive that ball into that gap. There's that pitch on the outside edge. Just keep nibbling, Willie Lee. Keeps nibbling away.
Well, you know what? It's good that they're taking some pitches here and battling away, because he's right on the edge of that pitch count right here. This is already going to be the 6th pitch of this at-bat, which means that Willie's probably not going to get to the 8th inning, and that's when maybe Goodwood can try to see their opening, but they do have some pretty good pitchers starting in the bullpen.
But you got to go to the pen. It's very important.
I mean, you could not have asked for more out of your 2 starting pitchers this
my
series.
goodness.
It's perfect. This is exactly, you know, you've got into the 7th here and the 8th with JBR. Perfect pitching.
And the
Perfect.
beautiful thing is Tom Bryce, it's almost Tom Bryce has now got options. It's not who's the last man standing, he's got options of who's going to close it out.
Great pitch from Wilson Lee. A big battle, and Wilson Lee gets him looking. He's had a great game so far. I think that's strikeout number 7 in the 7th inning.
I reckon that's, oh, you're right, okay.
So Wilson Lee has scattered just 2 hits over 6 2/3 so far. What a performance. Ben Wigmore up to bat this outside. Wow, I feel so happy for Wilson Lee right now out on the mound. He's really stepped up in a big moment. This has been his year, and he's doing everything he can to give Sturt the best chance they can. Wigmore's got a hit this weekend already. He had that yesterday. He's up to bat, and he's ahead 2-0.
And you know, one of the things I've seen a lot of Ben Wigmore's at-bats, and he is a very patient hitter. I've seen him hit a long ball with 2 strikes. He just can work a count beautifully. Let's see what he does tonight.
It's just outside as well, too. It's a 3-0 count. He has not allowed a walk in the game so far. He's dialed it in.
Unbelievable. And you can rest assured here that Ben Wigmore will be taking this pitch.
Well, 4-pitch walk. Just for the 3rd time today, Goodwood have a base runner.
And a free base.
Yeah.
So, is that their first free base of the game?
No, that is...
It is for Goodwood.
It is, yes.
Wow,
First
in the
free
7th
base.
inning. So,
yeah, and that is why they're winning.
And we talked about a plus-minus of free bases. So what's the free base count at right now for Goodwood?
1.
Goodwood has allowed 7.
They've given 7.
So it's a +6 in terms of a net 6 bases. And if you probably add up those nets, you're going to probably win most of the ball games you play in.
And where do those 5 runs come from?
It's a 5-run ball game, and it's a net 6 free base. It's a pretty direct correlation. First pitch swing from Michael Gaughan. It's up an elevator shaft, and it's coming right down, and it is dropped!
I got a question. Why are you swinging at that pitch right there? If you can't put that ball out of the park.
All of a sudden, I know it's 2 outs, but
that's the first
error.
the first sign of mortality this Sturt sign has shown, and Paul Holmes just slipping a little bit. He struggled with one earlier today.
Well,
when he
we did see
one.
that, didn't we? We did see that. Yeah. Michael Gaughan being aggressive and going after Willie Lee, and it's...
I'm waiting for Sturt to tense up.
Well, it's got to come.
It's been 28 years of tenseness.
It's got to come at some stage. Like we said, those last 3 outs, I can tell you...
But it's a lot easier when it's a 5-run lead. If Goodwood can get a couple...
That's right, it is. But those 3 outs are the hardest outs in baseball.
Well,
I've seen teams come from behind and win many a game with lots of runs behind.
Pass ball from Pycock earlier allowed a run, and he has a chance to drive one home here. Outside, Wilson Lee.
Now he's burning some pitches here.
Yeah.
We haven't seen this from him before.
And you know what? That's another thing about that drop ball. That's a great point there, is that it makes Wilson Lee have to pitch a few more, which is going to push him towards that 105. He only had 19 to spare heading into this inning. I don't know how many pitches it's been this inning. It's going to be getting close to 20, though.
He's on to his fifth batter.
Outside, it's 3 balls, no strikes.
And now you can see, and even on Garn, 4 pitches to Wigmore, 1 to Garn, 2 to Pycock, 3 to Pycock have been up. Everything's up in the zone now. So that means he's getting tired. Can't get right over. See there, he really got right over. Yeah. You got to get your chest over your front leg there. When you get tired, you start not using your back, and he's not using his back, and now he comes back and does that.
This is a moment for Goodwood.
This is the moment here. Outside. Bases.
Wow.
No, it's called a
strike. Believe it or not, he has called that a strike.
He's called it a strike.
Believe it or not.
He was down the line. I don't know if we'll have that replay later, but oh my goodness, he was walking down to first base, but it's full count. Runners will be going. Pycock. That one is outside, and now it's bases loaded.
So now we have 3 free bases in a row. So the momentum starts to switch here.
Tom Bryce is out.
As he would be.
So that's it. Wilson Lee is up to his pitch count.
Done.
Wilson Lee up to the pitch count. He goes 6 2/3, and the Caps medalist will walk off the mound here. And before we talk about the bases loaded, let's all just give a big round here in respect to the Caps medalist. An amazing season from Wilson Lee. He didn't allow any runs. He's on the hook for 3 here, but he hasn't allowed any runs, but they won't even be his because it was an error. So it's going to be no earned runs for 6 2/3 for Wilson Lee. What a great season for the Caps medalist.
Outstanding performance, and you do have to take your hat off to Willie Lee. A reason why he is Caps medalist, he just dealt today.
New pitcher up for Sturt will be number 55, Josh Tyndall.
Well,
and he's got a big at-bat to work through. We saw Sturt load the bases and Fidge get the out, and it just kept Goodwood in range.
Wilson Lee heading out to left field, and Angus Roger will head over towards first. So Roger in for Holmes at first, and Willie Lee, he's too good of a bat to take out of the lineup. But Matty Watkins, the MVP of last year's grand final, he came up clutch. He's got bases loaded, 2 out, and a new pitcher. And if you're Josh Tyndall right now, by the way, Josh Tyndall, good pitcher. He's really started to develop this year. Great in the Super League as well, too. But oh my God, this is a stressful moment.
Yep. Well, I guess the thing he's got to bear in mind is he's got a 5-run buffer.
But that can become
a run game with the wrong pitch.
Very stressful times here. And great socks. Look at the socks on him. Well, Phil, we've been waiting for that moment of drama right here, and this is it. Bases loaded. Matty Watkins coming to the place. Do you have Matty Watkins' numbers on the season hitting? You know he's hit a home run in the final series already as well,
He's been averaging 234, 23 games, 17 RBIs, probably the big one. 1 home run. He's on bases 325. Of course, Sturt have nowhere to put him. A passed ball, a walk, and the Indians will have at least 1 run.
And the game gets back to being slammable.
Yeah.
So the best socks in the league on Josh Tyndall on the mound, but he's coming into a very tense moment right here. The 3rd out was in their hands. Instead, it's bases loaded. It's game 2 of the Division I Grand Final, and Goodwood desperately needs some runs. Strike. Josh Tyndall gets the first strike. That'll be a sigh of relief for the young man.
And right now, the crowd on both sides is riding every single pitch.
It's a moment of tenseness that has entered the building. He swings at this one. It's a slow roller. It's a toss to second, and Josh Tyndall has got out of the jam.
Well, Willie Lee got in a jam, and Josh Tyndall baked some scones.
Goodwood was knocking, and the Saints have slammed the door shut. We'll take a break. We've got 2 innings to go. Sturt on the verge of a first championship in 28 years.
Welcome back, everyone. There's the our intrepid, one of our intrepid camera staff this evening, thanks to Spacequake Sports. G'day to you, mate. He is a long way up, and there was no way on God's great earth you'll ever get me in one of those things.
What
that
have you
far
done,
up,
eh? What have you?
It's giving you some spectacular pictures. Wherever you're watching around the planet, we hope you are enjoying the Spacequake Sports coverage. You're with Phil Hurden, Eric Bolnar and Scott Pratt. We're into the 8th. Things are getting tense.
They're getting tense, and we're running out of time for the Goodwood Indians. Darren Fidge on the mound.
So right now it's Macbeth, Lightbody and Nucky. 8-9-1. And they have all been busy.
They've been very vital for this Sturt Saints lineup, haven't they?
Well, it's been another great team effort offensively. Every Sturt player has reached tonight. And it will be Nucky coming up for the 5th time round. So right now Macbeth has a walk and RBI in the second that got things underway, and a fielder's choice out. He's happy to take that now to a 2-2 count. None out. The Saints with a 5-run buffer.
And Macbeth battling away. He's been battling the whole season. He's put together one of the best seasons I've seen him in the competition, but Darren Fidge gets him to chase one there, so he's doing a job of holding them in there and keeping them in the game. They've had an opportunity.
2-second strikeout for Fidge.
Second strikeout for Fidge. Mitch Lightbody making a case to be an MVP here. A hit might seal it for him.
Another hit. He's already had 2 tonight. 2 for 3. 2 for 2.
2 for 2
and
a
last
walk.
night.
Shout out to Brett Ettridge there, East Torrens, and come through Glenelg's junior ranks and out at Glenelg as a star at Glenelg in Div 1, and then moved over to East Torrens. He has been familiar with grand finals himself. Given Bush the call up to swing the bat. Something needs to happen from the Goodwood offense to make a change. Fidge ahead of the count. Now he's starting to nibble away. And that's the beauty of getting ahead of the count. You've got time.
Some pitches up your sleeve. Some options to play with.
Mitch Lightbody, just such a tough out, and this is going to be grounded over to short. Won't be an easy out, though. Hustling down the line, throw to first. Got him. He's been making him work, and a rare out on Mitch Lightbody, and that's the second out here.
Jeremy Creswell, again, you know, he knew that he had to come in hard. And look at Lightbody up the line. You know, a routine ground ball, he ain't going to stop. He is going to go hard and beat everything out. All it takes there is for a second delay there from Creswell, and he's safe. That's a bang play there. That is some, again, hustle. Charlie hustle up the line.
Top of the lineup, Harry Nucky swings at that one. That is hit long. It's hitting foul though, and that is going to slip over the fences, so it's allowed strike one.
Quite a fan club down there by the left field foul pole.
Yeah, there's fans scattered all over here. Another good turnout.
Great turnout.
You felt the moments of tensity? I'm going to use tensity scale. Intensity, there you go. What am I doing here?
Baseball in South Australia is alive and kicking. You've got to tell you, you know, I'm not being just parochial, but when you talk about the numbers that are out here tonight, the numbers that were out here last night, and the standard of baseball, you know, it's still a tight game. This game is, it's not an open slather right now.
Hits this hard, and he's going to have another base hit. Harry Nucky's going to send this one all the way to the wall, and he's going to hold up at first base. But Harry Nucky had a couple hits last night. He's got 3 hits tonight. He's sending them all to left field just on a rope.
That's his 6th hit for this series. Lightbody's got 5.
And you know the one thing I like about Nucky is he doesn't try and overpower the ball. You know, we've seen some guys tonight that have tried to do too much with the ball. He just knows that he gets that barrel to the ball and makes the magic happen.
Well, Wilson Lee kept himself in the ball game. He's playing left field now after he was taken out. 6 2/3, no earned runs, a couple walks, and a couple hits. Fantastic performance from Wilson Lee, the Caps medalist on the mound. Shutout baseball in a grand final. Can you ask more than that? And just the 1 run allowed by Sturt since the first inning of game number 1. We're late stages of game number 2 in almost a 3-decade-long drought on the verge of being broken. And Pratty, you were part of almost a 5-decade-long drought being broken. That was crazy for you, wasn't it?
That was crazy, and into extra innings against Henley and Grange, and good to come home with the win, and very special times.
Willie swings at that one.
But it starts to get tense, I can tell you right now. Every out is so valuable, every out is so vital, every at-bat is critical right now. And this is important for both teams. Sturt know that Goodwood, you know, they scored 14 runs against West Torrens in game 2 last week.
And I think they were behind and they scored 7 in the 7th.
Well, the game was done. They said, rightio, we'll get ready for game 3, and then they drop a 7 spot.
Well, Goodwood can truly, they have nothing to lose.
Oh,
big
that's
pitch on the outside. Big
good
G, Patty had it.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Well, he's just going right to the next one, Fidji. He knows what he's got to do.
Look at him. There he is. Just shakes it off. But, you know, you're facing a guy that's hitting over 400. You know, when you get that call, it is very tough to come back from here.
Richie, 2-2-2.
Here we see on the replay.
Well, that's tight. That's a good pitch.
Oh, so apparently I'm not sure where that low. Yeah.
Wilson Lee up to bat. I'll tell you what, though, as Lee takes this one outside, it has to be one of the hardest jobs in the world to be an umpire. You have those things zipping into you. You look at even the play at third earlier. Yeah. I think they had that play spot on. Yeah. And it's so hard to tell in that exact moment. They had some tight ones last night as well, too, and everything magnified in a grand final. Wilson Lee just keeps this one alive. So they do, an umpire will make, you know, they're looking at 200, 300 pitches a game, and they will make the right call on, you know, 298 of the 300 of them sometimes, and they'll get flack for the couple ones they miss. So it's a tough job being an umpire.
I mean, the bang bang, you got to make a call, and there was a decisive call made.
Willie Lee grounds this over to third, throw over to first, off the bag, they get the takedown.
Great play there. Well done, Dylan Childs.
So that ends it, and now, well, they're chasing 5 runs. Goodwood have 6 outs to use. As soon as those outs become less than the runs you need, that's when it becomes a little worrisome.
Just wanted to give some tribute to the different premiers and the different grades across Baseball SA this season. Of course, we had the women's competition played here a week ago. Div 2 won by Glenelg over West Torrens, and Div 1 Sturt over Glenelg. And if the Saints get up in the men, that's some history there as well, the men's and women's double, which I don't believe has been done before.
Nope.
Some junior grades decided last week in the under-13s, premierships to Glenelg over Goodwood, Southern Districts over Henley and Grange. The under-15s, East Torrens over Sturt and West Torrens over Henley and Grange, and Henley and Grange over Glenelg, and the different levels there. Under-17s, the Red Sox beating Southern Districts and East Torrens beating Henley and Grange. We've had, of course, the other divisions single grand finals played today. Now, if you can tell me who won Div 5 and Div 6, that'd be handy, but I can tell you Woodville beat East Torrens in Div 7. Glenelg got the double in Div 4 and Div 3, and West Torrens got Div 2.
West Torrens has won Div 6 and East Torrens has won Div 5.
So, I mean, that's one of the great things about Baseball SA. Whilst the media coverage and the streams are all Division 1 and the bite, there is such a depth. The 7 senior divisions, what did I quote, about 8 or 9 junior divisions that actually play for a premiership. That doesn't include your Pee-wee, T-ball type sport. There's great participation numbers and depth, and congratulations to all the teams that have won a championship this season.
Darren Fitch leads things off. He had a hit in his one at bat earlier. Ground rule double for Fidji. Sorry, Phil, it was the Div 2 ladies. Glenelg beat Adelaide, not West Torrens.
Okay, my apologies.
Thanks, Linda. Now's the times where we need some people to have their moment right here. They need their moment.
Fidji swings at this one. Here it goes. It's back to the wall. And
yes!
Well, call Darren Fidge an Italian blue cheese because that ball was Gorgonzola.
Gorgonzola. I love that one. Stand up and take a bow, Darren Fitch, you superstar.
Specimen getting it done. And Goodwood have some runs on the board.
Well, Indians needed a spark.
And Zach Becker takes that catch over the home fence.
That is unbelievable. Darren Fidge, 2 for 2 with a home run and a double.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have had...
he's going to be asking to start in the lineup.
The video back when I did say to you?
Yeah, and it's
what
great
did I
catch
did
there
say
by
to
the
you? Against West Torrens, where he won a game off his own bat. The guy can play.
Yeah.
I mean,
dead set legend.
This is unbelievable. Darren Fidge is just... he is one of the most fascinating creatures you will ever meet on this earth. He does not make a lot of sense, and Darren Fidge has just launched one over to left field. That was huge, and he, again, you go talk to Fidge after, is he going to be surprised? He'll say, yeah, man, you should have had me at 4.
So, we've just seen Sturt defensively pitching-wise stumble a little bit. Lee loaded the bases. Tyndall got out of it, giving up the home run.
And it is raining now. The rain is coming down. People are moving. This is another twist out here. By the way, Scott Pratt, you can hear his big eruption there. He is Goodwood through and through. So if you're listening on the stream, Pratty, a big Goodwood man sitting up here. He's pumped up, trying to see his team get back in there. Sturt trying to hold on right here. Darren Fidge goes long, and it's a 5-1 game, and maybe this can give them some confidence, and maybe they can start second-guessing. Pratty, you've won a grand final before. Those last 6 outs, defensively, do you start thinking, is that a problem?
Look, it does play on your mind. There's no doubt about that. Oh, no.
He was walking down first base.
Well, this is going to be a fun half hour, I think.
I think it could be an interesting one. Some more drama with some rain coming down. It's not too heavy. It doesn't affect the play too much. We had a reporter from Coffin Bay on the live stream. Let us know. This is hit up the middle. It's going to be a tough play. Running down the first base line hard. Throw down low. Mitch Lightbody, a great play. Owen Hughes has been a very tough out all game long, and once again, he proves to be that again.
So now Goodwood are down to 5 outs, 4 runs behind. No one on.
But maybe some confidence coming.
Oh, look. And look, the great thing is for all the Indian fans that have come out tonight, at least they've had something to cheer.
Yeah,
they've
they'll
had
talk
a moment.
about that for a while.
And for people asking, Darren is 44. We worked that out last night, isn't that right, Eric?
He is.
And the fans are riding every pitch again.
Well, just a little bit of hope for the Goodwood fans, seeing that, some encouragement. Josh Cakebread, I mean, Cakebread, Creswell, and Child, this is the part of the lineup you want.
It is Goodwood's opportunity.
And he's going to hit this over towards first. Should be an easy out. It's scooped up by Angus Rocher. That's the second out of the inning. Jeremy Creswell finished second in the Caps voting.
And Wilson Lee, he won by a long, long way from
Certainly
memory.
did.
Which I know doing best and fairest counts, and you try and orchestrate the climactic last round finish, but I think that was pretty impossible for the Caps this year.
No, there was no chance on that. I think he was well and truly over by the halfway mark.
So with about 200 games played in a Div 1 season, I used to know how they actually, I assume they don't go through game by game with the count. 200 games,
they go through the last half of the season.
Okay, so
you sit there a little bit. But it's kind of interesting. I mean, Wilson Lee was a runaway winner.
Yeah.
He had a big lead at round 17, and he just kept growing and growing and growing, and that was the remarkable part, sitting there. Well, so, Jeremy Creswell, watch that down low. It's a 2-0 count. 2-1 count, sorry.
And you can see the rain starting to get a bit heavier. Can we?
The rain is getting a lot heavier, yeah. This slips away, but no one on base to make anything effective out of that one.
So,
can you get the satellite up there, Phil?
No, I've had no internet for about 5 innings.
I'll pull it up on my screen for you to see the radar.
Yeah, Eric gets
just
the
so
internet,
you can see it. We can report back to the people around the world what is going on. But it's starting to rain a little bit heavier. Here's the pitch.
There's a fair chunk
and it's
of
a
rain,
walk,
but it's not heavy.
So Jeremy Creswell is aboard.
Yeah, there's not much behind it, is there? It just looks like there's a bit coming through, but it's in round and out.
It's just sort of gusty right now. It looks like there's a lot sort of to the north of us.
There's no breeze either. The flags are
and that's probably why you can get a home run hit out that way with Darren Fidge as well, too. Although that was a well-hit ball, but Dylan Child up to bat. He struck out his last time. He's 0 for 3 for the day. Darren Fidge, or Dylan Child, a double would go handy for Goodwood here, and it's a strike. So Goodwood not going down quietly, and you don't suspect that they will. They've got a run on the board, but the radar on your screen now.
Great work.
Great work from David Muggleton in Spacequake Sports. This is hit hard, but this is high up in the air towards center field. And it is bobbled! It is bobbled!
Oh, gee.
It is bobbled in center field. I think who is that out there? I know Joyce was taken out. Atkins.
Yeah. That is the second time that Sturt have dropped a routine out as the third out of the inning.
The second time, and now once again Goodwood still have a pulse.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Now an interesting one. You could tell on Atkins' face as well too, when that hit his glove and dropped down. He put his head right down on the knees, but the ball was sitting right in front of him. You got to keep playing that.
Well, especially when there's a runner on, and that runner runs hard. Cressy was at first, and all of a sudden,
second run is 90 feet away.
That ball goes a little bit to the other side. Cressy's scoring.
Well, the coach Ben Wigmore can just take it in his own hands right here and deliver one for the team. He watches that one. He was thinking about it. 1-0 count.
And who would you want more to be up to bat than this guy?
Ben Wigmore. He's seen it all for Goodwood over the years.
He's done it all for Goodwood.
And he's going to swing at that one, chops it foul, so he's no stranger to the pressure of this situation.
As I say, this is the guy. You give me a guy in this lineup who you want, and this is the guy that you want. The leader of the club, arguably one of the best hitters in the league all time.
Going back the last couple decades for Ben Wigmore, and an all-around great baseball guy. Inside, 2-1 count. Great experience here for Josh Tyndall in a high leverage situation. The Goodwood dugout for the first time in a while up and about. They're all at the edge of their seats cheering them on.
There's a sniff. Runners at first and third.
They had bases loaded the last inning, but again,
out.
Sturt, great job of shutting them down all weekend. Sturt have played fantastic.
We talked about Sturt not giving any free bases until the 7th. They've basically given Goodwood 2 extra outs.
There it is.
So yeah, bases and outs. He swings at this one. It's chopped towards right. Roger moving under this one. And that drops as well too. It's foul. It could have been the 3rd out. But Roger and Ridding moving on. They just lost the ball in the rain and the lights. And again, Goodwood continued to have a pulse in this inning.
And we see before when Ridding took that catch early in the game, you know, he wanted it. Now all of a sudden you start to second guess yourself. Now this is where the pressure, and I said to you, this is going to get tight. This game is going to get hot. And here it is right now. It is hot. It is pressure. It is at its finest.
And Goodwood had been given an opportunity, but given an opportunity and taking advantage of an opportunity are two very different things.
You got to make it hurt right now, Ben Wigmore.
2-2 count, 2 outs.
Something's about to happen.
2 on. And he calls time. He called time well a bit before, though, but he was just about to start. He was about to start there. Is that some gamesmanship?
Oh, 100%. Ben Wigmore's all over this. Young kid on the mound.
He just threw a strike as well, too.
You stop that. Bang, step out. I'm not ready yet.
He's just trying to ice the pitcher.
Oh, 100%. This is cat and mouse right here.
Yeah, okay.
Last night was a boxing match. It's cat and mouse tonight. Another key moment for Goodwood, trying to keep their season going. Tyndall versus Wigmore. And Wigmore swings at that one. It's right up an elevator shaft. Should be playable. Macbeth trying to find it. He drops it again. I cannot believe what I am seeing.
I can.
3 times the 3rd out, and Sturt can't ring it in.
This is pressure. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is finals baseball. And this
Even
is
Matt
hot
Macbeth
in
is
the
smiling,
kitchen.
saying, "Are you kidding me here?"
I should add, this is partially because of the rain.
Absolutely, it is
Have
slippy up
you
there.
ever looked up into rain?
Well, I reckon it stopped looking
No,
out
no,
here.
It's a little bit going, but it's not as heavy as it was a moment
you're
ago.
looking up and there's these drops coming straight into your eyes.
Not easy at all.
How many opportunities are Goodwood going to get with this at-bat right here?
You need to make it hurt now, Ben Wigmore.
2-2 count. Wiggy going for it again. He's a tough out, as we've seen here. And he swings at that one, chops it foul, and the at-bat goes on.
And now, Ridding, you're going, gee, what can I do? I get a pop up to second, just over first base, doesn't get caught. I get a pop up to the catcher, doesn't get caught. I'm facing Ben Wigmore. What do I throw? Foul ball. Now what do I throw? You know, the pressure now on a pitcher becomes so tight, you start to have trouble breathing. You've got to take some big, deep breaths here. Young kid on the mound, it's really hard for him.
This place is getting noisy. A lot more noise than you'd hear in a normal bike game.
Outside, the full count, the runners will be going. Ben Wigmore threw a couple drop balls, threw some foul balls.
We can still see some rain.
Has worked its way in the rain, coming down harder once again. It's in patches. The rain, as soon as the weather's changed, it's got a bit wacky for Sturt, but they're still hanging on here to a 5-1 lead. Huge pitch right here. Runners go. It's down low. It's bases loaded.
And Michael Gunn is the tying run coming to the plate.
Michael Gunn
Don't go anywhere, folks.
2 strikeouts and the error to first on the pop-up. So really hasn't been effective with the bat.
The third out they had an opportunity to make the third out 3 times.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
And this is good, just settling them down right here.
I say to you, those 3 outs are hard. The 6 outs are hard. Those 3 outs are going to be harder. They're going to be harder. Because
But how many opportunities is Goodwood going to get with bases loaded?
Here's the other thing, right? We go 6, 7, 8, 9 are coming up. The crucial time for these guys to deliver.
Well, they had, for Sturt's advantage, they had a pitcher in Matty Watkins they were facing with bases loaded. They got a pitcher with Michael Gunn again, but it's the pitcher, Darren Finch, that has a home run in the game.
That's right.
And a double. There's 2 of the 3 hits.
Well, this is your Baseball SA Division I Grand Final right here. Bases loaded, down by 4 runs. The tying run, Michael Gunn at the plate. Sturt just can't get that third out. The crowd is egging him on. Michael Gunn, who is the starting pitcher for Goodwood, has a chance to put some runs on the board for himself right here. Swings at the first pitch right through it.
And we talk about the flow, the seesaw of finals. Here we see the seesaw. When the momentum goes your way, you've got to make the most of your opportunities right now. And this is where Goodwood have to do it right now.
Drops down low and it's blocked by Matt Macbeth. That saves a run as well too.
Certainly does. Great catching there by Macbeth.
It was a very undramatic first half of this ball game. They were saving it all for now.
I kept telling you, it's coming, and here it is.
Michael Gunn staring down Josh Tyndall. Outside, 2-1.
So this is now you're behind the count. What do you throw? And this is where you've got to make sure you throw your pitch.
Is there a sport like baseball that can grip you at these little dramas?
This is the beauty of this game.
2-1, 2 out, 4-run lead. 28 years in the mix. This is hit hard. Over towards second base. Double clutch, but throw over to first. They get out of it. For the second time with bases loaded. Sturt get a ground ball. Clutch defense, clutch pitching, and Sturt continue to get it done.
What an amazing 8th inning after an incredible 7th inning. We've still got 1 to go, maybe the last inning in the season coming up. It's Sturt 5, Goodwood 1 on Spacequake Sports. Welcome back, folks. Game 2, top of the 9th. Sturt have a 5 runs to 1 lead after back-to-back innings where Goodwood loaded the bases, courtesy of some dropped catches by Sturt, but couldn't convert.
Well, it was probably opportunities that Goodwood probably shouldn't have had, but they did have them, and it's twice they've had bases loaded at the end of the inning, and they haven't been able to bring anyone home. It's just that solo shot from Darren Finch. That's been the 1 run so far, and Darren Finch is still in the ball game. Dylan Ridding will come up to bat.
It will be Ridding, Atkins, and McArdle as 3, 4, 5 for the Saints. Looking for some more insurance, because I can only imagine how tense the bottom of the 9th is going to be.
Yeah, taking a look at that. We were 1 swing of the bat away from this being a tie ball game.
And an interesting thing there, and Phil, you might be able to pick that up, is the free bases count and then the runs scored from the free bases. Obviously, we know Goodwood have had 0. They've scored 1 run, but not from free bases.
Taking advantage of opportunities. Sturt have done that very, very well.
Exactly.
Dylan Ridding's had a great season. A couple hits on the series so far, and his bat going all the way one way, but that's an infield, that's a hit, and Dylan Ridding is just gonna take it easy out here. That was very strange. Dylan Ridding was watching his bat go, and he's look at the look on Dylan Ridding's face as well.
That's a classic.
That's silly.
The answer to your question is 3 of Sturt's 5 runs have had free bases involved.
There you go.
So there was a couple on a triple RBI.
We got a few shout outs on Facebook. Annette Taylor from Harvey Bay, Alan Worth from Vietnam, and Kevin Jennings.
And this is
watching.
hit up the middle again too. It's grounded by Kate Brett. Throw to second, and he got him.
Wow, what a pick up there by Benny Wigmore. Joshy, a little, should we say, lackadaisical on that one? Just a bit casual.
Quick inning though.
Very quick inning. There's 2 outs.
So this is almost, unless Sturt put a rally on and put this game out of reach, we're really just waiting to get to the bottom of the 9th, aren't we?
We are, aren't we?
It's almost like the Sturt batters are just sort of dazed, like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? But hey, you know what? They've done all they can. They put 5 runs on the board. Wilson Lee has had a fantastic game, and now we'll have Jordan McCardle come up to bat. McCardle struck out twice, but he had that memorable game 1. He really was the difference maker in game 1, Jordan McCardle.
What a game he had. And we got Beck Cat that got up at 4 a.m. I think she's in Canada from last night's feed. And,
yeah, Montreal.
Yes.
Well, Saints fans, this one is for you. If you can hold on here, we're so glad that Spacequake Sports and Baseball SA able to bring you this coverage here, and we're happy to be here bringing it to you. We're here in the top of the 9th inning, 2 outs for Sturt, and then the countdown will be on, but it's not going to be so straightforward, I don't think, as we've seen before.
It's not at all. And we should say to Beck, we have the Fred Cat and Phil White local derby Shield Cup ready to be handed out after this series.
This is hit hard. This is going to right field. This one is back, and this one's off the wall. Wilson Lee, or Jordan McCardle, sorry, trying to stretch this over for 3, and J-Mac pulls up a bit tense at third, but he's got a triple. Keep padding those stats, baby.
Any other part of the ballpark, and that was over the fence.
He
chose the furthest part.
In Sturt, that's across the road.
Yeah, that's one of those ones in the backyard, or that's Stefan, isn't it? Hitting him into the neighbour's front lawn or something.
That's right.
Well, it's that slammable thing. If I can get 5 ahead, I can just breathe that little bit easier. And now it's Rozier.
Angus Rozier steps up. That's just a bit outside. Ball 1.
And here you are, Darren Fidge. Double, home run. Then you get Jordan McCardle that's hit you that far. Now you've got to come up to Angus Rozier. You just got to keep digging deep.
Swings to that one. A good off-speed pitch there from Darren Fidge. 1-1 count. Man, if he could get a hit here and push this back to 5, that just makes it so much better for Sturt going into that last inning. Swings at that one, foul. Darren Fidge, great job though he's done so far in this game, giving his team a chance to do it. Not like he hasn't putting them in a chance to give an opportunity. He's given them an opportunity to get back in it.
Yep. So just a couple of in the 7th. Back-to-back singles to Ridding, and that play of Joyce's is the only run given up, and that would have been on an error. So I don't think he's given up an earned run tonight as he's worked the back end of the game.
Outside, it's a Richie.
Something's about to happen. 2-2-2. With McArdle 90 feet away from just giving Sturt a breather.
That would be a big breather. Yeah, huge. And Angus Roger bleeds Sturt blue, and he's got the count full. Not that it matters too much, but the runner's going.
You got two club legends here going head-to-head.
Absolutely.
Two Baseball SA legends going head-to-head.
Two Adelaide Bite legends going head-to-head. Two guys that have played some affiliated baseball before going head-to-head. It's a walk. Runners on the corner, and with 2 outs, Goodwood have not been able to take advantage of their opportunities, and with 2 outs, here's an opportunity here for Sturt to try to get something done.
Rozier is hitless tonight, but he's been walked 3 times as Josh Tyndall comes to his first plate appearance, taking the spot of Holmes.
And I got a question here from Matt Fielder. He has asked this before, but I don't think we have the answer. Is when the last time was these two clubs played in the grand final against each other?
1953, Stephen Dew says.
1953. Thank you, Stephen Dew. Let's.
He was wrong earlier in the broadcast, though, wasn't he?
He was, and he did admit it. My money's sitting on his counter, waiting for me to go over there on his kitchen counter.
I have a feeling that Sturt's first year was 1908, and I reckon they made the final against Goodwood in 1908.
But the last time they played against each other?
Long history between these clubs that are just over 3 kilometers apart from each other. Darren Fitch can run there in under 15 minutes.
Sturt have won 3 flags, 1921, 77, 78, so that's 56 years, and then 1991.
Well, they do things in droughts and a runner going, but they're going to hold on to this one. So free base there for Angus Rocher. Puts 2 runners in scoring position. So a chance here for Josh Tyndall to give the knockout pat.
That's about a hit here would just all but seal it, wouldn't it?
Yep. And a big strikeout. Well, Darren Finch, take a bow. Since coming into the ball game, he's gone 2 for 2 with a double and a home run. He allows just 1 run, but it was on a throwing error. So unearned runs for Darren Finch in 4 innings pitched, 2 for 2. The legend of Darren Finch possibly could not be grown greater, but somehow it every year seems to.
It just seems to never stop. It just continues to get better and better, or just continues to be great. You know, it is just unbelievable there. And there you see the shot of the Fred Cat, Phil White, 2 legends of both clubs named in their honour. The local derby, it's been around for a long time. I think it was 96, 97 when it first started. We stopped it for a while, but I pulled it out of the cabinet and said, we've got to get it back. We've got to get 2 great people that have given so much to baseball in South Australia and honour their memory and their legacy of what they've given us.
What's great to see about this grand final is the remarkable amount of respect. The rivalry is there, it's well and truly there for Sturt and Goodwood, but the amount of respect that the 2 clubs have for each other is fantastic to see.
And it's fascinating how it all comes down to this. A 30-game season, 36th game for both Goodwood and Sturt tonight on a season, which is about 312 innings, about 900 outs. And just 3 is what Sturt need now. And they're going to be the toughest 3 outs.
And they've been tough the last few years, or few innings. Few years, though, maybe for Sturt as well,
That's
too.
right. And again, here we come back to 7, 8, 9. We talk about 7, 8, 9. They need to deliver for you. Can they deliver for you? Will they deliver for you? Sit back at home, enjoy the ride. Let's see what happens here for the Goodwood Indians and the Sturt Saints. Bottom of the ninth, 5-1.
It's been 6,577 days since Sturt last won a premiership, and they're just 3 outs and maybe 5 minutes away from bringing one home. 18 years, 216 months, or 28 years, sorry. Oh, I'm incorrect on that. I got my day counter wrong. I'll do this again. 10,229 days.
It's even more.
I was trying to do the sum in my head and it wasn't computing.
10,229 days since the last championship. 28 years and 2 days. This is hit hard over to right field, but it's going to go foul for Pycott.
And that's the thing. I mean, these are moments that do not come along that often. And you never know when the next one's going to come along.
21 times for Goodwood,
Yep.
3 times for Sturt. Josh Tyndall on the mound.
This is hit hard. It's going to be a tough play over at third. McCardle gloves it, thrown up first. He's done it again, Jordy McCardle. A great play at third. 2 outs away.
So at the moment, Sturt with 3 titles are tied with University, who no longer exist, and Woodville. They get to 4, they'll be tied with the Freemason Ramblers.
Oh my.
I don't think have been around since the last one in 1923.
Matty Watkins up to bat.
We got Cameron Langley coming in.
Cameron Langley.
Son of the great Graham Langley, and was outstanding in last year's final series.
I mean, this is a club that won its first 9 games and has not been beaten. They've tied a couple, but has not been beaten in their last 19.
Wowee. They have been fantastic. 2 sweeps in the finals to get here. Langley watches that down Main Street for a strike. This is a club that have not won a grand final in 883 million seconds, if you compute it to that way. So we're almost approaching a billion seconds.
And of course, they have a chance now of the double, the men's and women's Div 1. Oh! Oh, jeez.
Well, that is right off the helmet. And Langley will go to first. You could hear that a mile away.
Oh, that was not pretty, was it? We could see this on the monitor here.
Kudos to the helmet manufacturer.
He wanted to. He was having a think. Darren Fidge coming up to bat.
And Cameron Langley, you don't get many tougher than the Langley family. They Graham Langley and Cameron Langley.
Well, they
taking that, moving on.
We're at a 1-pitch warning.
How do you feel here?
We are at a 1-pitch warning. A double play will win.
A double play will end it. A home run makes this interesting.
The pressure on
Darren
Josh
Fidge
Tyndall.
up to bat. Cheshire on Josh Tyndall. That's outside. Ball 1.
The pressure on Darren Fidge. The pressure in this game is unbelievable right now.
And if the ball's hit on the ground, I'm sure the crowd reaction will give you the story. We'll try to give you all the atmosphere we can, but on the verge of history is Darren Fidge, who's 2 for 2 in the game. Swings through this one. 1-1 count, 1 out. Darren Fidge has seen a lot of things in his baseball SA career. He has not seen a lot of Sturt championships. And he's on the wrong side of one right here. He swings at this one. This is hit out to outfield. It's not going to drop, is it? It does!
Darren Fidge!
Darren Fidge has gone 3 for 3. He's got a double. He's got a single. He's got a home run. He's got 4 innings of clean baseball.
Eric won't get this, but he could star in a mutual community ad. The old 3 for 3 back in the day, Praddy.
Yes, yes.
Owen Hughes has been a tough out, and he's up to bat right now.
And now you come to the top of the lineup.
Yeah.
There's a sniff. 3 of the hardest outs in baseball. Here they
Hughes, Cakebread, and Creswell coming up, but they're just 1 pitch away from ending a lifetime of agony for Sturt. Tyndall has been composed under pressure, and he's been under a lot of it.
And right now here you see Fidge, he's not being held back, so he's got an opportunity to get a good lead to break up that double play.
Here's the pitch, outside, 1-1 count, and again, it just tenses up a little bit here at Bennett Field.
Josh Tyndall, you've got to spare a thought for him. His heart has to be racing more than yours and mine
under the
right
pump.
now.
He's been under the pump.
Yep.
We're at 189 viewers. Let's see if we can get to 200 for this
one
win.
walk away from loading the bases for the 3rd time in 3 innings.
Drops in for a strike.
There we go.
If he's swinging here, could this be it?
I mean, I have no team in this battle, and I'm so tense and nervous. I can only imagine what the Indian and especially the Saints fans are going through at the moment.
Here's the pitch. Tyndall versus Hughes. This is hit hard. It's back to left field. It looks like it's going to drop, and it does. right in the glove of Wilson Lee. They're 1 out away.
God.
That was hit hard. He's put it out there twice today, and it's fallen short at the track twice.
Now it's their veteran.
That would have been over the fence. That would have been a 5-4 ball game.
That would have been wild. It's been a game of inches.
How would that have been? And
It's been a game of inches. And here we are right now, the final out. Josh Cakebread is this right here. There's a runner on first and second. Creswell, the tying run on deck. And he watches this one over the plate for a strike.
And we talk about the guy that you want up to bat right now. In all honesty, here, sitting here for my club right now, this is one of the guys you really want up. An outstanding hitter.
That hush before the pitch is intoxicating.
That's not a strike.
That's called a ball, so they're a strike away. It's called a strike. So there's they are a strike away.
Wow.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. That last out is the hardest one to get. The hush from the crowd. Tyndall on the mound, and Cakebread will call time. We'll reset. A breath from Tyndall. Cakebread at the dish. The lefty. 2 outs. That is hard to lay off, and it's down low. It's a 1-2 count.
Well received there by Macbeth. You can see he's trying to keep that ball in the strike zone. Coming out to get it, staying under the ball like he did the pitch before, helping to frame that strike.
And here comes that nervous hush of the crowd. This is swung. It's to left field. They're trying to track it down, and it's going to go foul. That hush is awesome between there, isn't it? There's no other sport where it can be so loud 1 second, so quiet the next.
You can see that. You can see the view there of all the Saints fans.
Twitching, waiting.
No fingernails
Father and
left.
son, the 2 goalies sitting there watching.
They've been waiting a long time for this.
Simon Gooley was in the last grand final win.
And again, the crowd will get quiet, and they'll wait. Inside, the runners will advance, so it's 2 runners in scoring position.
It's not going to hurt you right now.
And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. They don't really care about these 2 runs. They care about the run that's on deck.
The only difference that it makes here is that it's no longer a forced play, which is an easy out. You know, a ground ball, say up the middle to light body, you can play second. Now you got to make the play over to first.
Goodwood have been fighting from the very beginning. Sturt have been great from the beginning. And this is hit to left field. Is it going to drop? And it does. It's going to score 1 run. It's going to score 2 runs. And Cakebread with a 2 RBI double slides into second. And the tying run is going to come to the plate.
What it does, what that did, that loose ball, put 2 runners in scoring position.
It should only have been 1 run scored. The loose ball brought the man to third and second. Made a hit to a 2 RBI double.
Josh Cakebread had not had a hit today, and finally he delivers, and that's a big one. They'll try to settle Tyndall down, and Jeremy Creswell, who was runner-up in the Caps, who was unstoppable last night, who got on base the last at-bat, is the tying run. It's 5-3. This is getting wild.
It certainly is, and you know the one thing about Josh Cakebread is that he was always in that at-bat, and now you've got a guy that is a disciplined hitter that knows how to drive that ball to the centre right alley.
The runner-up in Caps. He's had a great second half.
How you
That's
feeling?
down low.
You're Josh Tyndall. You've faced Fidge. You've faced Cakebread. You've faced Creswell. Like, this is not an easy task for the young fella to do.
And all you can think is if they could have that 1 hit with bases loaded they had the last couple innings. Here's a pitch again. Called a strike. 1-1 count. They've had opportunities. Goodwood have had opportunities, and Sturt have shut them down rather. Creswell batting in the 3-hole. The shortstop. Tyndall. Here's the pitch. He swings at this one. This is hit to right field, and this is over to right. 28 years of heartbreak no more. Tonight we paint the town blue. Sturt are your 2018-19 champions. You can see it in the faces of the Sturt players and the Sturt crowd. Something truly special to be a part of. They were made to work, but they were wire-to-wire winners in the 2018-19 season.
Congratulations, Sturt. It's taken 28 years, but your Saints are marching in.
And I'll be heading down shortly for the presentations, and we'll let you guys recap the game and take through the presentations as I head down there. But final thoughts, I'd love to hear from you guys right now.
Yeah, well, what a game. And look, full credit to Goodwood to come back and make it a game and have a final crack. But this Sturt Saints outfit is supreme. Outstanding. The way they played this whole series. You've got to take your hat off to them. They have really delivered.
And I'll sign off, guys. I'll see you on the field. I know you guys will carry this on and have some conversations down here, but I'm heading down on the field. Any tips for your MVP?
Yeah, look, Mitch Lightbody was outstanding. The way what he did last night and what he's done today. You know, he's only got out once, I think, for the whole tournament, for the whole series.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that, especially if you do it over the two-game series.
Yeah.
Lee was awesome tonight. Nucky was consistent.
Yeah,
you got to throw in something for Fitch tonight as well. But over the two games, Mitch Lightbody, he's in your 9-hole. He's supposed to be your weakest hitter, and he was the outstanding hitter over the two nights.
That's right. And look, hats off to Nucky as well. What a series he had as well. Outstanding. You can look at JBR last night. He threw very well. Creswell hit very well for Goodwood. Willie Lee, what an outstanding performance on the hill by him. Absolute lights out for so much for his whole time on the hill. So hats off to him. And again, congratulations to Sturt Saints Baseball Club.
And I mean, when you get to a grand final, and we're talking about, you know, two of the best clubs. Goodwood finished third and Sturt the minor premiers. You expect the series to be a contest and to have drama. And boy oh boy did we get that tonight. And the score doesn't properly maybe reflect that 5-3. That last 3 innings was so chock of drama, back and forth, and a deserved premier, and congratulations, Sturt.
Yes, 100%, and you take your hat off to the way they've rebuilt this club, not making the finals last year and come through and win this grand final, and the way they went about it the whole series. You could see how hungry they were last night, and they did it again tonight.
The last 5 years, which is as long as I've been sort of involved helping do some commentary, we've had 5 different premiers. Kensington beating Woodville, Glenelg beating Woodville, West Torrens beating Port Adelaide, Goodwood beating Port Adelaide, and Sturt beating Goodwood. And I think that's great for the competition that you had 5 different clubs that have found a way to be the Div 1 champions. It gives, you know, the team that wasn't in the playoffs last year as we go down to Eric.
Yes.
Well done to the Saints for pulling that out and winning their first championship in 28 years. First off, thank you very much to all the fans for coming out this weekend and supporting a great event. Both the Goodwood supporters and the Sturt supporters. Every year is great support. I'm loving the blue, I'm loving the red. So well done to all the fans for coming out to support local baseball. Thank you very much to our sponsors. Thanks to Black Chrome TTO. Thanks for Spacequake Sports for broadcasting all the games. You can go relive all the magic on YouTube and on Facebook. Big thanks to the Baseball SA board, and big thanks to the Baseball SA staff for putting this event on. And a huge thank you very much to the umpires for all their hard work all season long as well too. And a big shout out to the scorers sitting back there in the booth as well too. They are a big part of every club, so give them a applause for the scorers. We will begin with the runner-ups, Goodwood, and we will call Ben Whitmore out just to say a couple words.
First of all, congratulations to Tom and Sturt Saints on an outstanding series win. Really nice racing performance over the last 2 games. We were worthy winners of this year. The message around what we've been able to achieve this year. It's going to hurt a little bit, and it hurt drive us for some success this year. Well done on the effort this year. Coming out each and every week and getting behind the boys. I know they probably don't say it enough, but we really do appreciate everything that you do week in, week out for us. And also just quickly like to thank our partners, wives, girlfriends, etc. Baseball was a massive commitment throughout the summer. I obviously demand a lot of the playing group, and that takes me away from you and comments. So thank you for allowing them to get out and play the game real well. Cheers.
Let's go that way, and we will call the head coach of the premiership winning Sturt Saints, Tom Bryce, out for a couple of words.
Firstly, thanks for listening. I'm obviously glad to hear baseball. And the best to do that this weekend. Quality team, a great bunch of fellas, so it's a privilege to play against such a good guy like you, and we look forward to more battles in the future. Big heads up, one of the good baseball teams we've got. To our supporters, amazing turnout. They've been a long time coming, and yeah, thank you so much for coming out and supporting us. We really felt it and appreciate it. So Wallace Long and the committee, thanks for backing me in the last 3 seasons. We knew we had something special, it was just a matter of time. But thanks for giving me everything I needed and the boys everything they needed to succeed. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks, committee. There's really a bunch of stories. I've got 3 that love it, and it's never a hassle for them, and it's a pleasure to talk to you after the game and on your involvement continuously, and hopefully continue on time into the future. All the old boys that came out and have been giving us crap all year about we're not performing well and sticking with us and giving the other teams hell. Appreciate that, boys. To the memory of Ron McBeth, we had a lot of long years through the early 2000s, and he stuck with us, and there's all these boys here that a lot of them can attribute lots of hit from him to the way they play baseball. So, yeah, special thanks to that guy. Not here, but and then to my boys, an absolute privilege. It's very rare to have a team that has so many good guys like everyone. Just the camaraderie and just amazing attitudes and behaviour. Like it's a pleasure to coach. And it's like being around it. So thanks, boys.
Before we do that, present the medals, we do have to present the 2019 SABL Championship Series MVP, and the winner goes to from Sturt Baseball Club, Jordan McCardle.
Obviously, it hasn't been the best week for me and best year for my family, but thank you guys for inviting me and taking out all the time. Thank you for winning last week. Thanks for doing something really good. Yeah, I mean, let's just enjoy it. It's been a long time coming. A real bunch, but it's hard grip. I think this is the best week we've got here to come. So, enjoy it, guys.
Well, we'll keep it out here. I'll be calling out each of the Premiership winners from Division 1 with Sarah Kelly, the GM of Baseball SA, and Mark Snellbro, the President of Baseball SA, here to present them with their own medical order from the team list presented to us. So please, Sturt fans, make sure you make some noise for your boys that supported them, right? And keep us supporting like you've done all year. We'll start with number 36, Simon Atkins. He was your Game 1 starter, and what a performance it was. Number 21, Jackson Webner.
Alrighty, folks, time for us to wrap it up here on Space Quake Sports as they go through the players. Got any final words on the baseball season? Commiserations for your boys?
Yeah, thank you, and a great effort by the Goodwood Baseball Club, as we said before. But Sturt Saints fully deserving of this premiership. They were the better team overall for the whole series, for the whole season. Well deserved, and congratulations to them. And what a great season it's been for Baseball SA.
Alrighty, thank you all for joining us. This is Phil Hurton on behalf of Eric Borner and Scott Pratt, Dave Muggleton, our erstwhile producer, and the erstwhile camera crew saying thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations, Saints. Good night from West Beach.